All right, man, we back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Bang, bang, bang. What's up? What's up, man? Smoke Friday, Smoke Friday, Smoke Friday. Smoke Friday in the building. Let me make sure let me make sure I can be heard up here, man. You got some smoke. Let's see, let's see. Smoke Friday, man. Smoke Friday. We can be heard. 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 Hold up. We can be heard. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, man. Smoke Friday. Anybody got some smoke? All right. Now we all set now. We just gonna do it this way. Anybody got some smoke? Let me know. Feel free. Pull up. Feel free. Pull up. Smoke Friday. Smoke Friday. Shalom. 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 Look, challenge me, man. What's up? What we doing? I'm gonna be up here for a little bit. I'm gonna be up here for a little bit, man. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Zara.
No, I camera on. Okay, no. I came up. Was somebody asking me something?
Oh, in the YouTube stream, they were talking about something about the rabbis and something. Okay.
Who was it?
I think that was Capri.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you was what was that? What's the rabbi's corner or whatever they were saying? The
What you
Amen
say?
corner. What's the Amen corner? What was that? What they were talking about?
I don't know. I was trying to figure it out, and then I heard something about rabbis and Zara trying to get Zara something. So I was like, "Oh, let me figure out who was asking."
Yeah. Wait. All right, there we go. Is the prompts in the middle? Is it set good? You can see the whole prompt.
Like the daily ranking, the times
No, I'm talking
10,
about the Smoke
join.
Friday background thingy.
Oh, I can see smoke in the first part of the E, and then Friday, but it cuts off the last leg of that Y. But I mean, I can read it like it's TikTok.
Okay. So it probably look different on different people's phones because on my phone I can see the whole thing.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's see if we get some Smoke Friday, man. Let's see if we get some Smoke Friday. Smoke Friday, step into the fire, challenge me, debate me, test the truth. Look, let's see what we can do, man. So for the people who don't know, I'm Tanakh only. I got smoke for Christians, Muslims. I got smoke with Israelites. Anybody, if you're an Israelite, Christian, whatever, pull up. Looking for some smoke. Looking for some smoke. What up? Pull up, pull up. Let's see if we can find any smoke, man. See if we can find any smoke.
Like the live, like the live.
Definitely.
We'll send it out to more people.
I'm liking the live from my other account. Can y'all y'all can read the prompt? Can y'all see this prompt? Smoke Friday. Smoke Friday. Step into the dungeon. And y'all see it? Let's see, man. Anybody? Anybody want to challenge me?
Wait, are you still on YouTube?
Nah, I ended on YouTube. All right, all right. The prompt is good. Y'all can read the prompt clearly. All right, let's see if we can just get some smoke. I'm gonna sit up here for a little bit, man. Christians, Israelites, I'm challenging y'all. Whatever y'all want to talk about. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If you're a Christian, pull up. If you're an Israelite, pull up. You got false doctrine. While we wait, make sure y'all buy the new book, Amazon Kindle. The image still stands. My new book in the chapter in Daniel chapter 2, talking about the statue, showing you how the statue still stands. We're still living in the time of the statue. Right? So I'm gonna be up here every Friday, looking for some smoke. So if you got any smoke, pull up. Christians, Israelite, biblical debates. Jay Mixon, shalom. Jay Mixon, what up? Shalom, Shabbat shalom for the people that celebrate the Shabbat tonight. And even we could talk about that too. The Shabbat doesn't start at nighttime. We could talk about that too. The day doesn't start at nighttime. We could talk about that. We can talk about who the Messiah is. We could talk about biblical prophecy. Whatever y'all want to talk about, pull up. Step into the fire. Step into the fire. Let's go. You're tuned in to Torah After Dark with Gadol HaGadol. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Oh, okay. I think that was Lanier Zara that was asking that question on YouTube
What was he asking?
about the Amen Corner. I think that either that was a Lanier or Capri. I couldn't really see the chat. Lanier in the building. All praise to the Most High for Lanier in the building. Jay Mixon in the building. LaDonna in the building. How about some Christians, some Israelites pull up in the building if you got smoke? I don't believe Jesus is prophesied in the Tanakh. I don't believe the virgin birth is prophesied in the Tanakh. I don't believe the day starts at evening. I don't believe you can keep Passover and high holy days outside the land of Israel as is written. If you want to challenge me, pull up. Just a little bit of smoke. Just
When you say like you can't keep it as is written, are you saying that then you can't keep it? You can like observe it, I guess, but not.
Yeah, I don't think observing it is keeping it. So
Okay, so you would say people like no one's keeping Shabbat. People are observing it.
exactly.
I mean, outside the land, obviously.
Yeah.
But where do you think the land is?
You know, I think it's over there. But yeah, I'm not. I'm not one of those people that think it's American and stuff like that. I think it's over there. I think it would be kind of hard for them to like. Well, I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard for them to switch to a land location. I think that would be extremely hard to do. I don't know.
I mean, if they did, I'm gonna follow those people. They're smart. Like, duh, I'll go with you guys.
That'd be crazy though. Imagine they did. Imagine the land all that is not over there and it's somewhere else. That'd be crazy.
Well, I mean, think about the map that we all learn when we're kids in America. Like the U.S. is essentially like the center of the world, right? Like that's the perspective of map that we get. But when you look at like other maps that are more to scale, Africa's freaking huge.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. is like this tiny little thing over there that like it's so like not even.
That's a fact. Yeah. They do be lying about the size of continents and countries and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I was in Africa for those couple of months, like it scared the crap out of me how big everything was. I was like, this is like Avatar. Why is this tree so huge? Like it was really bothering me. It was.
That's crazy. And then on certain maps, different like the borders to different countries are different because some some lands are disputed. So some countries, some maps say, okay, this is this country's land, but on another map, another country will have that land. So yeah, that's crazy too. So Susan is in the building. What up, Susan? Oh, Sudan. Yeah, the Sudan crisis. Yeah. There's a lot
I would
going on.
to a South Sudanese person talk about the whole, like just being South Sudanese and why they have to designate Sudan and like versus North Sudan and like the Arab Inquisition and like how they came in and they Arabized and like colonized their land so that the indigenous Sudanese people are like South Sudanese or whatever and they go by different names, but
I think I'm gonna dig into that history because I don't know much about that history over there. I don't know much about that. Jay Mixon, what up, Jay Mixon?
Shalom, shalom. Ak, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Shalom. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Good. Blessed beyond all measures.
That's what's. I see you still be on TikTok putting that work in, man. I'll be stopping through sometimes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
amazing.
I'm glad to see you here. I'm trying to get brothers to come this way. That's this where they need to be at.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I've been trying to get it right for like a couple weeks now because I'm trying to go live because I'm on live every night at 9:30 on YouTube, but I'm trying to
Okay.
go live on TikTok every Friday night for my Smoke Friday. But I'm just trying to see how I can get it to work. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Send
I'm
me
actually
send me the
excited.
links, bro. I'm there. Send me the links. If I ain't doing nothing, I'm there.
I bet you. Oh, you could just YouTube Gadol Hagadol and it'll pop up. It'll pop up. But I'll send it to you TikTok though for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here for a while so brothers can see they'll come this way.
I bet. Yeah, man. How the smoke been going? You still getting a lot of smoke over here?
It's smoke, man. I really wanna one of these days chop it up with you, or maybe we could do that now. I want your take on this whole first five business
Mm-hmm.
and Genesis only business. What are your takes on that?
Genesis only is crazy to me. Like I think that's crazy to just to be Genesis only. Um, the first five books only. I don't have an issue with that because I think all the prophets in the Tanakh pointed you back to the Torah. The whole thing was
Mm,
just to worry about the Torah, keep Torah, keep Torah, keep Torah. So if you just say, "Yo, I'm Torah only," and I'm just worrying about the Torah and keeping the Torah, I don't have an issue with that, me personally. But
right.
Genesis only is just crazy to me. I think that's just wild.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm kind of in the same realm as you, man. But you do have the some all first fivers are not the same though. You got some first fivers that's like you said, they just want to keep Torah. They don't want to deal with nothing else, and I respect that. But then
Mm-hmm.
you got other first fivers that are anti prophets, anti writings,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of overbearing with that at this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah, I know. But hey, I really, hey, if you, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Cause, and I get it. Cause there's some stuff in the prophets. You have like what they call further revelation, where a prophet will say something like Isaiah. Hold
Bless you.
thank you. Like Isaiah, we was talking about that yesterday. How in the book of Isaiah, he allows for eunuchs to be back and be among the people. And the Torah says, that can't happen. Right. So they say, oh,
Hmm.
that's different. That's a change. We're not accepting that. In which, okay, I understand that. I get it. But I'm not one of those people that say, okay, God can't. Um, like for Daniel went to Babylon as a eunuch. If God sees and said, you know what, these people are righteous, I'm inviting you guys back in, just like he kicked Israel out and invited them back in. Me, I don't have an issue with that. But I can understand how a Torah only would have a problem with that. So
Hmm.
I get it, but I just
But I mean, can't we all have the understanding that once a person unalives, right, and they go to sleep in Shaul, right, Shoel. Do you think that they are going to resurrect as a unit?
that's a good question. Resurrect as that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I would say maybe
That's
maybe not. Maybe when you resurrect, your flesh is restored. I'm here.
That's kind of the idea that I got from that in Isaiah, that he's talking about in the end of days, when the days of judgment come and the Most High gathers all of us, that the former eunuch is not going to be resurrected as a eunuch, because that's a physical thing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah. I can see where you're going with that. Like, I don't think the text says that directly, but I can
Hmm.
understand that stance. I can understand that stance. But like, why wouldn't, if you're resurrected, why wouldn't you be, resurrected with a
Yeah.
functional, fully working body?
Hmm.
Like, if a person that's blind, you think when they're resurrected, they're gonna be resurrected blind still?
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand that
Right.
part.
Or an amputee. Is an amputee going to be resurrected still missing limbs? Like that, it, I would say, I would think the same thing would apply to a eunuch as well. But I mean, like you said, it doesn't say it directly. That's one of those things that we just have to kind of speculate on until we get to that point to see how that particular process is going to work.
Yeah, thanks, Zara. What you think about that? You got a take on that, Zara? Make sure you hit the screen, like the screen up, see if we could get some people in here to bring some smoke.
I walked to the kitchen, but are you also talking about what I would call innovations in the prophets?
That too, but as well, he asked a question: a eunuch that dies a eunuch. If we believe in resurrection, do you believe a eunuch will be resurrected as a eunuch still, or would there be like a refresher to their flesh?
I would imagine that there would be a refresher to the flesh, because when we talk about a eunuch, that's a type of death, if you will, right?
Hmm.
So there's no point in resurrecting something that's, for lack of better terms, still dead.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what I said. I could see that happening. Even though the text, I don't think the text says it directly. I can 100% see like someone that dies a eunuch, they'll be restored. Even a person that's blind, or like he said, an amputee, when they're resurrected, why wouldn't they be resurrected to a back fully functional body? So I
Yeah,
definitely
I
can
mean,
see. Yeah,
Down syndrome, all that. Like, I think all the chromosomes will be in order. I think everything will be ideal when you, if you, whatever, resurrect.
yeah,
Otherwise, what's the point? I don't know.
yeah. Facts, facts. I think the eunuchs will. Shalom, shalom. Look, it's Smoke Friday, man. We try. I couldn't really get no smoke on YouTube, so I'm trying to come over here to TikTok, get some smoke on Smoke Friday. Anybody want to pull up, challenge? For the people that don't know me, I'm Gadol. I don't believe in the Christian Testament. I
At
don't,
all.
yeah, I don't believe the Sabbath starts at evening. I believe the Sabbath starts in the morning. So there's a lot of different understandings I have. And if you feel like you want to come up and challenge or have a dialogue about anything, let's see. Let's do it. Anybody, So I'm here. I'm here. I'm gonna be here every
Y'all
every
tap that
Friday.
screen, share the live. My brother Prolific is back in the building.
All praises, man. I was having fun on TikTok before when I was up here. It was fun. So hey, man, I'm not gonna be doing it every day, but every Friday we gonna be here, man. We gonna be here. See if we get some. What Danny P and all them still up here, man? What them Christians at?
Yeah, Danny P. He lost his temper with me the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, man, does it really have to be that serious, sir?
Remember, man, Danny P was supposed to debate. He backed out, man. I said, tell them boys pull up, man. Where the Christians at, man? Pull up. Make sure y'all hit that, tap the screen, get us on the algorithm, so we can get some smoke in here, man. What the Christians, Christian lights. Let's see, man. Smoke Friday. Step into the fire. Challenge me, debate me, test the truth, man. You're tuned in to Torah After Dark with Gadol Hagadol. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Definitely, definitely. And if you don't have the new book, make sure you grab the new book on Amazon and Kindle. The image still stands. We go into the book of Daniel chapter 2 and break that thing down, showing you how the image is still standing today, where we're at on a timeline of that statue, and where religions like Christianity, Islam, the formation of England, where all that stuff plays into the statue of Daniel. Right? It's a great book, and I promise you, you ain't never heard nobody break down Daniel 2 statue like this. All praise to the Most High. Grab that book. It's on Amazon and Kindle. The link is on my page. All right, let's go. Where the smoke at? Let's see if we can get some smoke, man. Shalom, James. Shalom, James 718. I'm kind of blind even with glasses. Shalom, shalom, man. Where the Christians at? Christian lights. I'm gonna be up here. I'm gonna try to go live up here for like an hour and a half or something. See if I can get some smoke. Chief Shammah's in the building. Shalom, shalom, Chief Shammah, man. I'm trying to get some smoke over here, Chief Shammah. Try and get some smoke over here, man. See if any of these Christians wanna swing swords, man. Any Christians? What them other Christians that used to be up here, man? Where y'all at? Hit that like, hit the tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. The virgin birth is not prophesied in the Tanakh. Muhammad is not prophesied in the Tanakh. Jesus is not prophesied in the Tanakh. None of that stuff, man. So if you're following JC, if you're following Muhammad, that is not scripture. And for the record, if you don't know, what the Christian Testament does, right? It takes scriptures from the Tanakh and it reinterprets them, right? It could be a scripture about Josiah. It'll take it out of context and reinterpret it and make it about JC. It could be a scripture about King David. It'll take it, reinterpret it, ignoring all the context, and make it about JC. Even there's text that's not even prophecies, and they'll take that and somehow make it a prophecy and make it about JC. Right? They do that. And I'm here to expose that and show you guys you are following the wrong Messiah. You're following a false Messiah, and the Christian text has lied to you. For example, in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, it says that the virgin shall conceive and call his name Emmanuel, referring to the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. Now, when you read the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, when you read that in context, that's talking about a war that the Assyrians would come and destroy the northern kingdom in Syria. And Isaiah says that would happen within 65 years. He literally says in Isaiah 7 that this baby is a sign to a prophecy that would happen within 65 years. So if the baby is a sign to the prophecy that would happen within 65 years, that means that baby had to be born within 65 years. So if Isaiah says that this baby was supposed to be born within 65 years, how can the writers of the Christian Testament, how can the writers of the Christian Testament say that it's about JC when Jay-Z didn't supposedly come to almost 1,000 years later? So it's crazy. What does this say? Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. I can't even, I didn't know that. Hey, Shalom, what's up? We can't hear you if you're trying to speak.
Was you talking to me?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah, what's up?
Hey, you got something to say, something to bring out?
Yeah. So are you like, is your position about the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. So
What's your
let
before
me
you
ask you
go?
something.
What's your theology? What's your stance before you go?
I'm more I'm more leaning to Kemetic. I'm not fully dived into it yet. I'm still like teeter tottering.
Mm-hmm.
But my question to you is, all right, in the Bible it said that matter of fact, let's take it back. Let's take it back. In Jesus' time,
For the record,
Jesus was around 2,000 years ago when
for the
he
record,
walked
I'm
around
not a
this earth, right?
believer. I'm not a believer of Jesus. I don't believe in Jesus.
Say it again.
I don't believe in Jesus.
Okay. Oh, so you just believe in the Bible?
Yeah, I believe in the so-called Old Testament, the Tanakh only. Jesus is not in the Old Testament. Jesus' story is in the so-called New Testament. Is a addition to the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. I could talk to you there then.
Hmm.
Um, do you believe that the Israelites left out of Egypt?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your proof that they left out of Egypt?
When you deal with any type of religious belief, there's going to be a level of faith and belief, right? So because how far back Moses was and the people like Abraham, the people like Isaac, you do not have a lot of solid proof that this stuff happened, right? Because archaeologists, they didn't find everything that happened in the world, right? So we don't have solid proof of this happening. But when you talk about religious, there's a argument of faith and belief. So I would never make the stance that I can prove that this happened or I can prove that certain people existed. And even when it gets to the science world or the academic world, it says a lack. I mean, what does it say? The lack of evidence is not a evidence. No, the lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. That means just because there's no evidence of something doesn't mean it's not true, right? So I would
True.
never make that argument that So I'm not one of those that say I can prove it.
Okay. So what about Moses? Where in Egypt was Moses?
What do you mean?
Because
Where?
you said
Well, say that one more time.
I said where in Egypt they had Moses, because in the Bible that said it was Moses. It was in Egypt, and
Yeah.
we have every king you could think of from Akhenaten down.
Well,
So I
Moses
was
wasn't the
wondering
king
where's
of
Moses.
Moses wasn't the king of Egypt.
Okay, so basically we don't have no proof of Egypt
Yeah,
either.
you don't
I
have
mean
a
Moses of Egypt.
yeah, you don't have a lot of proof of stuff as far back as that. You have certain proof, but not everything that ever happened in the world we have proof of it. So I would
You
never make the
you
argument
Oh,
about the proof.
you have what's
okay.
called conclusive evidence. You can make a conclusive statement or a conclusive suggestion that Moses existed.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like
So
let me ask you a question.
it
Let me ask you this
sure.
question. Prove to me that your grandparent from 16 generations ago existed.
I would have to go to you said in 1600s.
From 16 generations ago, your grandparent from 16 generations ago
I
existed.
would just use the census.
So you have a census from 16 generations ago of your ancestors.
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah, I believe
I
so.
doubt I doubt you do, but are you
I mean, I
Jewish?
could go. I can go back to probably 19,
But
uh,
anything in the 19 is not
like
16 generations.
40s.
Yeah, that's less than 16 generations.
Okay, okay,
When we
fair
talk about
enough. I
16
mean,
generations, we talking about the 1600s, 1500s.
yeah, but at the same time, we know
And I
history,
doubt
so it's
you.
like,
No, I mean, you can say you know history,
yeah, as a
but
general.
that's the point. We can say you know history, but do you have solid evidence, proof that your grandparent from 16 generations existed? Only thing you had to say, well, I'm here, so I'm proof. But do you have the grave? Do you have a census? Do you have pictures? Do you have any of that? You don't have that.
I mean, I can go back for a long time, but for 16 generations, probably I'm trying to have to relook on that. So I understand your point, but I think you're missing the point that of the bigger picture of detail and main history.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I say detail of Moses, you might not find the detail of Moses, but in main history, have there ever been Israelites in Egypt? You know, that can be disputed or debated based
But
on general history.
the
But
scholars,
let me ask you this.
before you go that, what the scholars would say, they would say there probably was Israelites in Egypt that left, but it's not to the scale of what the Bible says. That's what the scholars would say. But again, I'm not one of those that can say I can prove it. I don't think there's enough evidence to prove it uh so far back.
Sure.
So when you get into religious belief, when you get to stuff like that, there's a level of faith and belief that religious belief people have.
So, so let's get to a common ground then, right?
Hmm.
Ramesses, is he's in the Bible and as well as outside the Bible, correct?
Yeah, you talk about the cities of Ramses. Hmm.
Yeah.
But
So
you have
when
people
have
inside
you
the
heard the
Bible.
story?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Have you heard the story that Moses talked to Ramesses and all the other stuff?
Nah, I never heard that story.
Oh well, who was the Pharaoh that Moses was talking to that that didn't
Well,
want to free the slaves of
it's different ones. Some people
Israelites?
place the story of Moses in different time periods. Some people have the late time period. Some people have the early time period. So it depends on what time period you put it. But the Pharaoh in the Bible isn't named. So it depends on who you're talking
Oh,
to. It depends on what time period you put him in Egypt.
so based on genealogy, like let's say, like you said, I was born. Let's say I was born in 1990, right?
Hmm.
I can use that timeline and say, hey, this person was born at this time, this time, this time, this time, this time, and go back based off life expectancy, right?
Hmm.
And when they do that on the Bible, they bring that Moses into Ramesses' era, not because based off of
Well, that's one. That's one
descendants,
argument.
descendants, descendants, descendants.
But that's one argument. That's not the only argument, right? Some put him during the time of Ramses. Some put him during the time of Akhenaten. It's different arguments. So it depends on which one. And me,
So, what do you believe?
I don't
Akhenaten, Ramesses, what?
I don't pick because we don't know. So I'm not gonna go and say, oh, he could have been this, could have been. I don't know. I just leave it to that.
So, do you believe that Ramesses was, part of the Bible? Do you think that?
The pharaohs weren't named, so I don't put a name on any of the pharaohs. The pharaohs that Moshe Dilla, he's not named, so I don't put a name on it. I'm okay with
Okay,
leaving stuff to I don't know. I'm not gonna force anything. But
sure,
if
sure, I
my
get
name
you.
is
So,
included,
let's find stuff that you think that you're solid on.
let me ask you
Anything?
this: when it comes to the Bible, do you believe anything in the Bible happened is real?
Um, in fact, there's some things I do think is real. Yeah.
Okay, because we know there are things in the Bible, people in the Bible that we have archaeological evidence of,
Okay, cool.
like Omri, the king of Israel, Hezekiah, king of Judah. You have
You find the
Assyria.
bones of these person as well?
No, you don't find bones of them, but you have them on other like Assyrian records, archaeology. You have Jehu on Assyrian archaeology depicted, right? So you
Yeah,
have
okay.
them in history outside of the Bible.
Okay. And what do you think is solid on? Because it seemed like you are not really solid on anything when it comes to Egypt and Israel. So kind of like wondering, what do you think
I
is
wouldn't
archaeological?
I wouldn't say solid.
Like,
I just don't argue stuff that's no need to be argued. I'm not going to argue that Moses was a real historical figure if I don't have the evidence to prove that. That's stupid. It's something you could believe and it's stuff you can prove. So I'm not going to argue stuff that can't be proven because we don't have the evidence of Moshe. I will argue stuff that can be proven. Like we have Jehu, he can be proven. Hezekiah, he can be proven. Omri, he can be proven. We have archaeological evidence for people in the Bible that can be proven. Now, if you want to talk about those things that can be proven, we could talk about it. But I'm not going to waste my time and talk about stuff that can't be proven.
Okay, so do you believe everything in the Bible can be is true, or do you think there's stuff that's not true?
As far as what the narratives,
Yeah, like the
yeah,
narratives of the
I
Bible.
believe the Bible wholeheartedly.
So if you believe the whole Bible, right,
Mm-hmm.
and don't want to debate stuff that you can't prove, don't that seem one-sided debate?
No, it's not, because why would I argue something that we don't have the archaeological evidence for? I'm not
But
going to
you say
argue.
that you
I'm not
believe
going
in
to
everything
argue
in the Bible.
because the Bible, like for example, the Bible says a donkey talked. The Bible has
Right.
miracles. The Bible has miracles that happen. I'm not going to say, yo, I can prove to you this miracle happened. That's dumb. Certain stuff when it comes to religion is about faith and belief. So I'm comfortable with saying, yo, I believe this by faith. 100% comfortable with that. I'm not going to
Okay.
make an argument to say, yo, I can prove this happened knowing I can't prove it happened. That's stupid.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You can't prove where Moses was. You can't prove if the Israelites left out of Egypt. You can't prove the stuff about Ramesses or anything about Egypt. And you can't prove that Jesus existed. So I think
You
the
mind
stuff
if
that
I
you
you
can
mind if
prove
I
is the
chime
things, right?
in? You mind if I chime in?
Yeah, you can chime in.
Prolific.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go ahead, man.
as far as archaeological evidence is concerned, based on the stories that are in the Torah, Tanakh, and the New Testament, right? So when we look at the Exodus story, we only have that one story only in the Torah. That Exodus story is nowhere else. It's only in the Torah. Now, the archaeological evidence coming from the history of the people that it's talking about, which are the Israelites, the Egyptians, and then you also have like the Midianites, the Cushites, so
Tap
forth
that
and so
screen.
on.
Tap that screen.
There's enough evidence to make a conclusion that the Exodus story actually happened because the history, the archaeological evidence from Egyptian history proves a lot of this. It's conclusive with the Exodus story.
No, it
So
doesn't.
so for example,
No, it doesn't actually.
okay, for example, you have the Shasu of Yahweh. This is four different temple inscriptions all throughout the Egyptian dynasty at the Soleb temple, the Medinet Habu temple, the Karnak temple, and the Armara temple, right? The Shasu of Yahweh, the word Shasu is a word that the Egyptians would use to describe nomadic Semites that existed as servants and slaves in their communities. And they were keeping track of these
Joshua was
people,
once a king, a king name
and they were
of
keeping
ancient
track
Egypt.
of
He's
that's
not talking
that's the
about the
word
king.
they
He's talking about the people.
the people, and they were
I
keeping
know you
track
might be
of these.
confusing that with the people and the king, because like that is a king name.
No, he's talking about the
Well, no,
Shasu.
Somebody, a
the
king was named
Shasu,
that,
the
No,
Shasu of Yahweh is talking about the nomadic Semites that existed in Egypt. That's
but
what
it's
the
never
temple.
been the name Yahweh in Egypt. Never.
That's the temple inscriptions. You have to look this up. The Shasu of Yahweh. That's the temple inscriptions at those four temples.
man, I can
And
pull
this
it
is
up.
the
Yeah, yeah. Show me a temple that says that's Yahweh in there.
You also have the Meneptah Stele, where the Meneptah Stele mentions
Israel,
his
but
uh his
that's
de-
Murner Patah, by the way. Yeah, yeah. The Stella is Murner Patah, and that's what they've um, ever heard of the name Israel.
so the Meneptah Stele talks about his defeat over the Israelites,
No, he talked about his
where he
victory
lied,
over the Israelites, and he defeated
right,
all.
where he lied and said that he defeated all of the Israelites, which was a common practice in Egyptian history. Egyptians were known to lie about victories.
Yeah, but they said Israel was the Hyksos people, and we proved that's not real.
I don't believe that
Some people
Israel were
make
the
that claim,
Hyksos
but not
people.
I
Some
don't.
people make that claim. I believe that
Yeah.
the Hyksos people were Semites, but I don't believe that they were Israelites.
Gotcha.
He's
So,
talking about this right here. I
like I
don't know.
said,
Can you
the
see this on the
Israelites
screen,
came out of
Divine?
Egypt, right?
Can you see this on
If
the
the
screen?
Israelites came out of Egypt,
Can you see this
then
on
you
the
got to
screen? He's
prove
talking
that
about.
they came out of Egypt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You
Can you
have
see this on the
the
screen real fast?
Exodus.
This is what he's talking about right here.
Uh, yeah, I can see it.
That's what he's talking about. The Shashu. Some people, I don't make the argument that these are Israelites, but some people do make the argument. I don't.
It's nomadic Semites, which could definitely include
Oh,
Israelites.
the Seas people. The Seas people is not nowhere close to Egypt. That
No,
was
it's a mixture of people. It's not one type of
yeah,
people. It's
mixed
a
people on the Hittite area or the Mesopotamia
No, he
area. That's
the
what
the
Seas
Shashu
people.
is not the sea people. He's not talking about the sea people.
right where they're not
The
the sea
the
people.
sea people defeated the Shashu.
Hmm.
Okay, I can't see it all. So I'm gonna have to you have
Yeah,
to put it. Oh, the Battle of Kadesh. Okay, around Ramesses the second. So you know around that time, in that era, that Israel was supposed to left the Red Sea, and yet Ramesses controlled from not just the Levant area, but all the way to Mesopotamia.
Controlled or had allegiance,
Controlled. He
because
conquered.
again,
The
Egyptians in
Battle of
their
Kadesh is in
history.
Hittite.
Right. In their history, the Egyptians were known to lie about defeating certain kingdoms.
How do
They
you know?
lied.
Can you prove that they lied?
Right. They lied about defeating the
Can you
Hittites
prove that they lied?
because there's a treaty between the Hittites and the Egyptians stating that the battle that they had between them came to a stalemate. Neither of
They
them
did.
won that battle. So
Right.
they were in alliance with the Hittites. They weren't in control of them.
No, what I'm
let
saying,
me ask
they
you. Let me
took
ask you
over
this
the
real fast.
Levant and then went to the Hittites
No,
and made a treaty.
they were in alliance with the
But hold on.
Hittites.
Let
They
me ask you
weren't
though.
in control of them.
I don't want to spend a
No,
bunch of
man.
time on stuff. I'm with the story of the Exodus is hard to prove. I'm here with you there. But we know just because you don't have evidence of something, it doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen. So I think this is a stalemate. Even the scholars would tell you the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. They would tell you that. So I don't care to debate something that I'm telling you, yo, we can't really prove it. And you're gonna say you can't prove it. We agree, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So
Right.
it's pointless to do that, right? You're not talking to one of the bozo people that's gonna argue to death about this. It's dumb to even make that argument. And I get why you want an argument because you think that makes your point strong, but it doesn't. Because even if I can't prove it, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Based on the
Right.
scholars, what the scholars say. So I'm gonna ask you
Just
this.
because you
You
can't
said,
prove it, you can't say that it didn't happen.
oh, oh,
You just have to say, I don't know if that happened.
that's why I said when it comes to religious belief, especially the Bible or whatever, there's a level of faith you have to have. And I'm perfectly fine with saying I have faith.
Believe in
I'm
something you don't,
I'm perfectly
you
fine
can't
with that.
prove.
So let me ask you this
I,
then. Let me ask you something about Kemet. You said you're
Sure.
leaning to that, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that there's coffin texts that say they created from semen into into the gods' mouths and stuff like that?
Yeah. I find that very odd. Yeah, definitely.
And that's something you want to hold to. The the
No, I
whole
don't. I don't hold to that. I'm a different comedic guy.
so how you a different so explain to being a different comedic guy. Explain that to me.
Okay, so there's some people in Kemet, right, that believe that they they believe in a coffin text, the dead sea scrolls
Dead
and
Sea
stuff like
Scrolls have
that.
nothing to do with Kemet.
Yeah, something like that, right? All these coffin texts and pyramid texts and stuff like that, right? Well, I'm on a different field is that I think that the Bible tells more of the Egyptian history than it does Israel history. And I think it's been whitewashed to tell white names like King David and all this other stuff.
But so
For for instance,
hold on.
for instance,
You believe
Adam.
hold on. You believe their real names were David and Adam?
No, what I'm saying is, I think what they did with the Bible, right, is took Egyptian history, whitewashed it, and make people believe that it's from Israel. And it was really just Egyptian history.
Okay, and what proof? What proof do you use for that?
Where was the Bible created? It was in Alexandria, Egypt.
What do you mean it was created in Alexander? What do you mean by
The
that?
oldest book,
The Septuagint,
the Septuagint, right,
but the
was
Septuagint,
created in
but that was a
this
translation.
The oldest,
trans.
that's a translation. That's not the scrolls.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
translation.
and where it was translated from?
The
From
scrolls.
Hebrew.
Where's the scrolls? Where's those scrolls at?
We don't
Those
have this.
scrolls
We
were
don't have
found
those
in the.
older scrolls, but we
They don't
know.
have the oldest
But we
scrolls.
So
know
you believe in the
But we know the Septuagint was a translation. The
so
scholars tell you it was a
so you believe
translation.
was told
No,
to you.
what do you mean believe?
That would be
Everything
the
we're
same
talking about is
principle that
something that was told to
with
us.
what you're talking about
What are
as
you talking
well.
about?
That's something that's told.
You can't pick and
For
choose.
instance, right?
You sit.
For
Hold on, hold on,
instance,
hold on,
Neither
hold on,
of
hold
us
on.
were there,
Hold on.
even with the
You sitting up
Egyptian
here
history.
talking to us about stuff that was told to you. You didn't just make this information up. You telling us stuff that was told. So you can't pick
Mm-hmm.
and choose. The
no, I'm saying
Septuagint is
based
a
on evidence.
translation. It's a
That's
translation. Based on
I'm saying.
evidence, the Septuagint is a translation.
I said based on evidence, right? It shows that for one, Israelites never left. There never been a big migration out of Egypt. That's for one. Another evidence is there never been Moses in Egypt, or even heard of this name, Moses.
If there was never a migration out of Egypt, then how do you explain the Assyrian exile and the Babylonian exile, so forth and so on?
And I want to ask you this, right? When it comes to the Bible, do you believe what do you believe in the Bible is real history? 'Cause I'm trying to get where you because it sounds like you're coming from all over the place. What do you believe the Bible is anything in the Bible real history? Any of the people of the Bible is real? What is your stance outside of you believe it's all whitewashed Egyptian history where that's just absolutely insane, by the way. No, I don't see no scholar saying that. That sounds like something you just made up on your own. But what do you feel is correct when it comes to history
I
about the
think
Bible?
he left prolific.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, I think he left, or he had a bad signal. One of the two.
Oh, that's interesting. But for the people that's listening, right, especially Bible believers, do not get bogged down in no argument about proving Moses or the Exodus happened, please. You're just gonna waste your time. Don't do that because we can't prove it, and just because we can't prove it doesn't mean it didn't happen, right? Everything in the world that happened in the world, the evidence has not been found on it yet, right? There's stuff that's been lost to history that happened that we have no clue about. So please, I want to try to save y'all time. Do not just take the road of look, bro. We can't prove it. That's what it is. But that don't mean even. Let me show y'all this quote real fast because people think just because you may not be able to prove something that means it can't happen. So I want to show y'all this quote, and maybe the brother will come back. Let me show y'all. This is this is from scholars. This is like a rule called the evidence of absence. Let me see if I can put this up here. All right, hold up, where we at? All right, let me put this up. This is a rule. I see that. I want y'all to read that. Can you see that? Is that on the screen? Can people see that?
At the bottom of the screen,
Yeah,
yeah.
y'all can see that. Let me know if you can see it, J Mix.
I can see it.
All right,
I
cool.
can see it. I can't read it because the text is too tiny, but I can see it. I
All right,
can
let me
read the
try to
top portion, but the bottom portion I can't read.
put it up here.
There we go.
Right, this is something y'all should look into and read about. Evidence of absence. Just just because evidence is absent, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. because we know in history and scholarship and archaeology, they find stuff every day.
Right. There's no telling what'll come out the ground.
Exactly. So just because they haven't found this stuff yet on Moses or the Exodus or whatever, doesn't mean it didn't happen. So it's a pointless argument to be bogged down with that. Look, I get it. We
I
can't
I
prove it right
get
now.
I get where you coming from, prolific. And here's the thing: I have a slightly different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there's enough evidence to suggest,
Mm-hmm.
right? The suggestion is there. The
Yeah.
actual proof, like 1000% proof, is not there. But there's enough evidence to suggest that this happened because, like I said, what I was trying to tell the gentleman is we only have that one Exodus story in the Torah. It's nowhere else to be found except for in the Torah. And then we have all of this history from the surrounding land masses where the Israelites are said to have went through. Right? We have the history that comes from Egypt, and we have the history that comes from the Canaanites, the Hittites, so forth and so on. That's conclusive with the Exodus story, right? Does it conclude the Exodus story to the letter? Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But it does match up a lot with the Exodus story. The Shasu of Yahweh is one of those things. The Merneptah Stele is one of those things.
No,
Right? It doesn't accurately prove it, but it does have glimpses of being conclusive with the Exodus story.
and I
But the
agree with you, by the way. It's just when you debating those Egypt people, Egyptologists, that's not going to be
mhm,
enough for them.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's point. You're just going to go in a circle.
But the funny thing is they don't have enough to prove none of what they believe in.
And
And it's weird to me.
and you see, I was about to get into that Kemet stuff, all that weird stuff when it comes to Kemet. They love to talk about
Yeah.
the Bible.
Yeah.
When you get into all that, they putting semen in people's hands and in their mouth, and their deities are having homoerotic situations, like like bro. And this is stuff you want to follow. When you start talking about that type
Mhm.
of stuff, they don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he must have dropped out by mistake or something. Cause
Yeah, like I said, his profile didn't look like it was fully developed on the request up. So I think he had a bad signal.
uh, and I never heard no, but he said he believed the Bible is a whitewashed remix of Egypt history. That's crazy.
That's
I
real
wanted to hear
crazy.
them get into that. I wanted to hear more of that.
Because like I said, how do you explain then the Assyrian exile, the Babylonian exile? These are exiles that there's enough evidence to conclude without a doubt they happened.
Hmm.
There's no question of them.
And you see, he didn't want to get into the to that evidence. That's why when I asked him, okay, do you believe anything in the Tanakh happened? Because we have a lot of evidence for a lot of stuff in the Tanakh archaeology. I can go down list of
Oh yeah.
archaeological evidence that when it comes to the Bible. But so just
Oh yeah.
hearkening on stuff that we don't have evidence for, it's pointless. I'm not going to be the one to beat that dead horse. We're gonna get to the
Hmm.
real. We're gonna get to the real stuff. Tap that line. Let's see if we can get some more smoke up here, man. Tap that line. I wish that brother was able to come back. That was a good dialogue.
Yeah, you weren't gonna get off into the weirdness though. I saw it coming.
Cause that's that. Because I know they tricks. I know that's all you want. You want to talk about Moses and the okay, cool, great. We not going. I'm not going to be one of those ones that's just going to sit around there and talk about this, bro. Like, bro, let's
Hmm.
talk about the real stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if we get some. Tap that screen. Tap that screen. Let's see, man. Smoke Friday. Bring the smoke. Bring the smoke. Whatever you want to talk about. Have
Yeah,
some.
man. Tap the screen, share the live. Shalom to brother Elvis. I see brother Elvis and brother James. James
Shalom.
718.
Shalom,
Sister
shalom.
Madonna, shalom to y'all. Tap the screen, share the live. Star, shalom. Tap the screen, share the live, and let's get a dialogue going. Shalom, Britt. Tap the screen and share the live, Britt.
And again, y'all want to purchase my new book. My new book is on Amazon and Kindle. The image still stands. I talk about the statue of Daniel 2 and where we're at in the timeline of this statue, because this statue
Yeah.
still stands. We talk about prophecy and history. So if you love biblical prophecy and history, grab this book, Kindle and Amazon.
I had a Trinitarian was trying to debate me on that earlier today. And as soon as I tried to break the thing down for them to understand, their whole mentality was the rock at the end, that's JC, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you're not understanding what this means. So let me break it down for you, because I believe that Daniel 7 is a furtherance of that same prophecy,
That's a
and
fact.
and it gives you it gives you a better clarity of what Daniel 2 is talking about.
That is a fact, man. Again, man, look, man,
Shalom, Kimberly.
you need to grab this book, man. You need to grab this book, man. If you ain't got this book, grab this book, man. I'm telling you. And
Shalom,
the rock
shalom,
is not a
Kimberly.
person. The rock is a kingdom. Rock isn't a
Right.
person. I don't know what they be trying. The rock is JC. It clearly says the rock is a kingdom.
Yep.
So grab this book if you wanna. I'm telling you, you ain't never heard this statue broke down like this. If you want that understanding, man, purchase my new book on Amazon and Kindle, man. I talk about Islam in that book. So I'm gonna give y'all a little preview. I talked about how Islam and Christianity plays a part in the statue, in the toes, and the
Yes,
feet.
sir.
I
Yes,
talked
sir.
I talked about that, right? So I'm sure, like, grab that book. You're gonna see, and then we tie that to Deuteronomy 28:64, how the children of Israel will be scattered, worshiping the gods of um,
Yep.
uh,
Stone and wood.
wood and stone, and
Yes,
I
sir.
tie that into Christianity and Islam. So
You
it
know the
plays a part in here,
breakdown of
man.
the statue. I got that from you, right?
I didn't know that. All praises, man. All
The
praises.
breakdown of the statue, I got that from you, and it opened up a lot for me to understand more about the scripture, and going to Daniel 7 and going to Deuteronomy, so forth and so on. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. But
Definitely,
it's an eye opener once people understand how to break that prophecy down.
exactly,
The
man.
visions of Daniel are so intricate to today's time. It's
Facts.
ridiculous.
That is a fact, man. That is a fact. All praise to the Most High, man. Beautiful, 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 man. So grab that book, Amazon and Kindle, man. I'm telling you, y'all gonna love it. It's a dope read, and it's not too long. You can probably read this in like a 2 3 day, like a weekend, and there's a lot of information in there. But let's get this smoke up here, man. Let's get this smoke. Where's the smoke? Where's the smoke? Come up here, man. Look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm Tanakh only. I don't believe in JC. I don't believe in Muhammad. I believe in the Tanakh. I don't believe the Sabbath comes in at nighttime. I don't believe the day starts at night. I believe the day starts when the sun comes up. I believe the Sabbath starts when the sun comes up. Right. So if you want to challenge me on anything, come up. Or if you don't even have to. It don't have to be a challenge. We can have a conversation. But
A
it's Smoke Friday,
dialogue.
man. Tammy
Shalom,
2.0,
shalom,
evening and
Tammy.
morning made a day. Nope, nope, nope. Highly disagree with that. Okay, when you go to Genesis, let's go to that real fast. Genesis 1. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna go to it. But when you go to Genesis 1, is a cycle going on. And then you notice in Genesis 1, when does the cycle reset? It says what? Evening came, then morning came the next day. So all through Genesis 1, the morning is the signal that the day has started. It doesn't say evening then morning. I mean, it doesn't say evening to evening. It says evening to morning because it's a cycle, right? So I think that's clear. And then nowhere in the text does it tells us that the Sabbath starts at evening. Nowhere in the text. I challenge this person. Give me one text that says the weekly Sabbath starts in the evening.
Don't you bother me.
Can't prove that. Genesis 1 doesn't say evening and morning made a day. Evening and morning is not even a full day. Evening and morning is evening, night, morning. It's not a full day. It doesn't say evening and morning made a day. It says evening came, morning came. God worked in the daytime. So he works in the daytime, and then evening comes, then morning comes again, he works. Evening comes, morning comes again, he works. All through Genesis 1, God is creating during the daytime. And every time he creates, it tells you morning has come. So it's a cycle in Genesis 1. That's a fact. This is a day for preparation because tomorrow is Yah Sabbath. That is a fact. Tomorrow is Yah Sabbath, and tomorrow starts at the going up of the sun. Everything begins in dark. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not a son of the darkness. I'm a son of the light. Children of Israel are the light, not the darkness. Darkness doesn't represent holiness. Darkness does not represent holiness. Sabbath day. Sabbath day. That is a big fact. Sabbath day. Darkness was a result. No, let's go read because I think we or we read too fast in Genesis 1 and we make a lot of assertions sometimes. But when we go to Genesis 1, let me pull this up real fast. Let me pull this up real fast. Let's bring the smoke up, man. Let's bring the smoke up. Let me pull my
The Sabbath is complicated.
Why you say that?
I just feel it is because there's so many different understandings of how the Sabbath works, and I'm not sure if any of it is accurate because of there's so many different understandings of the Sabbath. I've heard some people say they go by the lunar Sabbath. Some people say they go by what's called the equinox Sabbath. Some people feel that it's just Saturday, basically Saturday to Sunday, Saturday to Sunday. I've heard different understandings of the Sabbath.
Yeah, I did too. I know what you're talking about. Well, let me. All right, hold up. Here we go. Play. All right, so look at this, right? It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. And God saw the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light darkness, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Evening passed, right? Evening passed, and morning came, marking the first day." So, what was the marking of the first day? You had evening passing, then morning coming. That's the first day. So now in verse 6, what part of the day is it? It's morning time. And God said, "Let there be a space between the waters to separate the waters of heaven from the waters of the earth." And that is what happened. God made this space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heaven. And God called the space sky. And evening passed. So after he creates, evening passes again. So it goes from what? daytime when God is creating to evening, then morning comes, marking a second day. So you have morning, evening, morning. God creates. Then evening comes. Then morning comes. God creates. Then evening comes. Then morning comes. God creates. So in the whole chapter of Genesis 1, God is creating in the morning, and the morning marks the new day. This is what this text is saying. The morning marks the new day. If it was the evening that marks the new day, it would say morning passed and evening came a second day. Because it would be saying evening is marking the new day. But this text isn't saying evening is marking the new day. It's saying God was creating during the daytime, and then evening passed, then morning came again, and then God starts creating again. Then evening passed, then morning comes again, and God starts creating again. In this whole chapter, morning is marking the new day. Evening passed, and morning came, marking the third day. Evening passed, and morning came, marking the fourth day. Morning, morning, morning is the start to the new day all the way down in this chapter. Evening passed. What does evening pass mean? That means evening went by, then morning came, and morning marks the new day. Nowhere in this chapter does it say evening starts the new day. Nowhere. Nowhere does it say that. I'm gonna move this on. Nowhere in that chapter. And if the day like we would, I don't know. I just don't get it. Somebody sent the invite. Nobody sent the invite. He sent the invite. Do you accept? Yeah, ain't no invite up here. Who sent the invite? Nobody sent no invite. Send it again. Send it again. The Sabbath is the seventh day. The seventh day, the day starts in the morning time. The day starts in the morning time. The day starts in the morning time. When the sun comes up, the day starts. That's when men go out to work. That's where you get your rest from. Tap that screen, tap that screen, tap that screen. Let's get some smoke. Let's get some smoke up here. See if we can get some smoke. Daylight. Daylight. Bum, 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 bum. All right, man. Shalom, shalom. Yashan, Yashan. Shalom, shalom. I'm Tanakh only. I don't follow the Christian Testament. I don't believe the Sabbath starts at evening. Nowhere in the Tanakh are you commanded to keep the Sabbath at evening. Nowhere. Only days you are commanded to start from evening is the Day of Atonement and Passover. Now, that's my question. If every day started at evening, why would he tell you, oh, but this day you keep at evening? If we was keeping it every day at evening, wouldn't be no need to tell us to keep but this day at evening. Would be no need to tell us that. But since every day wasn't being kept from evening to evening, this why he said, okay, but the Day of Atonement, keep from evening to evening. Passover, start that at evening. If every day was being kept from evening to evening, would not be a reason to say do this time from evening to evening. Because they'll be already know. It won't be no different from any other day. It's simply highlighting correct observation. Yeah, I know. And the correct observation to keep Day of Atonement is evening to evening. You don't have evening to evening nowhere else for every day. You cannot show me evening to evening for a weekly Sabbath. You cannot show me evening to evening for a regular day. You can't. Nowhere in the Tanakh. And we all say let's not add to the text, especially Tanakh onlys. Don't add to the text. Don't add to the text. But as soon as it comes to the Shabbat, why are you adding to the text, bro? It don't say you keep the 7-day Shabbat from evening to evening. Nowhere. It doesn't say you keep it from evening to evening. Nowhere in the whole entire Tanakh. It was evening and it was like, and then people keep quoting that. Evening and morning is not one day. When you evening is evening, nighttime, morning. That is not a day. That is not a day. It's saying evening passed, evening went by, and morning came. Showing you the cycle. Right, let's this, right? Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all something in the Hebrew. I'm gonna show y'all something in the Hebrew real fast. Maybe this will help. Let me show y'all something in the Hebrew. Let's go to the interlinear of Genesis 1. Let's go to the interlinear of Genesis 1. Let's go to the evening. Hold up. This is what I want to do. Hold up. No, let's do it. Let's go to the interlinear. Hold up. I want the. No, that's not what I want. Let me see if I can pull this up. I need the. Oh, that's not gonna let me do it.
So everybody in the chat, shalom, shalom to Abe, Britt, shalom, Yashun, Tammy, Kimberly, shalom, everybody. Tap the screen, share the live. Hey, Yashun, hey, Godal, you should bring Yashun up, man.
Bring them up. They can come up. However they want to come up. I don't know.
Yashun has been trying to show me some things about the Sabbath, for a little while too. Like I said, for me, it's complicated, and I think the reason why it's complicated for me is because there's so many different understandings of it.
Now, when you go to
Shalom.
shalom,
Shalom, Yashun.
in Genesis 1:5, when it says, and there was evening, that is a sequential imperfect. A sequential imperfect, like y'all can pull it up on y'all phones, right? Or on y'all Blue Letter Bible. A sequential imperfect, it's telling you a sequence of events. That's what it's telling you. So it's telling you the sequence of evening and morning. So it's telling you evening passed and morning came. So it's not telling you, oh, the day is evening and morning. It's telling you evening passed, then morning came. It's a sequential imperfect, right? And when you read what a sequential imperfect is, it says a sequential imperfect verb functions generally like a verb with perfect conjugation, but it also connects to an earlier verb to form either a sequence of time. That's what it's talking about. So this is a sequence of time. And what's the sequence of time? That evening went and then morning comes after evening. So when you go in Genesis 1 and 5, it's telling you evening passed, morning came. And every time it tells us morning came, it tells you it's a new day now. So all through Genesis 1, over and over, it's telling you morning marks the new day. But go ahead, Yashan. I just wanted to get that out.
Yeah. So, yeah. Just the way the text reads. I mean, I don't really agree with what you just said, but just based on how the text reads, I don't know what else to say. Like what you just said sounds a little complicated, and it sounds logical too. But I mean, just because it sounds logical doesn't mean it's correct. I'm just sticking to what the way the text reads,
But
and
this
even in Hebrew, it reads the same.
No, I just went to what it says in Hebrew. When you go with Hebrew, Hebrew deals with grammar. And when you go to the Hebrew grammar, the word for "and there was evening," that is a sequential imperfect. A sequential imperfect in Hebrew is a sequence of time. So it's telling you the sequence of time that happened. And the sequence was evening, then morning. And then it says day one, day two. It's telling you every time it mentions the morning, it tells you a new day. Every time. That's not me adding anything. That's the Hebrew. That's the grammar. A sequential imperfect.
Let
And
me
then
let me pull it up. Give me a second,
mhm.
just so I could follow along. Hold on one second.
And then when you go and while you pull it up, and then you have it in multiple translations. When you go to different translations, when you go to the New Living Translation, God called the light day, and in darkness night, and evening passed and morning came, marking the first day. So it's telling you evening passed and morning came, marking the first day. The New International, and there was evening, right? Was, that means it came, and there was morning. Okay, that means morning comes, the first day. So the first day, the second day is all after morning time. If this text was telling us evening starts it would say it after evening time. But being that it says the first day, the second day, the third day, every time after morning comes, that lets you know morning is the marker for the restart.
Gadar, you mind if I request if another person come up
I'm not, yeah,
as
anybody
well?
anybody could come up. It's free. The stage is free. Anybody could come up.
Kimberly, she's also been trying to show me some things with the equinox Sabbath. I'm looking for clarity for myself, and I feel like the people that are in the chat right now are people that I dialogue with on a regular basis. Very intelligent, know how to have a conversation. So therefore, this will be edifying. If we can get Kimberly to come up as well, and I want to just hear some different opinions on how this Sabbath works.
Yeah, I never
And
heard
this
the
is coming,
equinox
and this is
Sabbath
coming
before.
from somebody that's completely and totally and I'm quite sure that everybody knows this because I've said this on my panel before. This is coming from somebody that's completely and totally confused about the Sabbath, meaning me. I'm confused about it. I don't understand exactly how it works. I always thought that you just take a day and rest, and that's it. But I'm beginning to see that there's different ideas of time frames, so forth and so on. And like I said, I'd love to see a healthy conversation where maybe I can get a little bit more clarity for myself.
Yeah, I never heard of the equinox Sabbath, so I'm open to hear about it.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't heard of that either.
I don't know if I'm the one to explain it, but basically the way you have to look at it is if you were to, we know we have an equinox, what is it, spring and winter equinox, I believe. Your shadows, if you were to put a pole outside, your shadow is going to gradually move, kind of like a time dial. That's how they used to use time dials. The equinox is kind of like a reset. So, meaning your Sabbath is not going to always land on a Saturday on the Gregorian calendar. It's going to be totally different. Like this year, it's actually on Sunday. Last year, it was on Saturday. Next year, it might be Monday, or I'd have to look and see what they say it's going to jump to on the next one. Like I said, I'm not the best person to explain this. I'm trying to think of the guy's name that he hasn't been on in a while. But if you'd like, I can send you a link when I find his videos. I mean, I know I have him in my friend as my one of my friends, so I can look up. He's got a lot of videos explaining it.
Kim, may I ask, is this based on the premise of there being odd days of the week? Because there's 7 days of the week and that's an odd number.
No, no. It's literally going back to it's kind of even how the military tracks time. If you were to be lost somewhere, say you were stuck in a cave for a month, when you come out, how are you going to know what day it is, what time it is, or anything else?
Okay.
You're going to look at at what time the sun sets. You're going to look at the shadows, and you're going to figure out within a few days when your Sabbath is supposed to be. And there's a bead thing that they make that follows the day of the days of the week exactly. I'm probably chopping this all up. I'm sorry. But I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I want to say his name's Ed, that does the videos and explains how, because he makes these like beads that you can follow through the year, and it'll tell you exactly when each holiday is, when each Sabbath is, and when the equinox is going to happen. But I mean,
What
there's a lot
scriptural
of science behind it.
what scriptural evidence do they use to support the equinox Sabbath?
I think they pull it right from Genesis, if I remember correctly. And like I said, it's been a while since I've listened to him, because I was with Jay. I was like, I mean, kind of look at it this way. The day you were born, your birthday does not land on that day that you were born every year, does it?
Exactly, because it's based
So
on
how is your birthday
equinox.
going to land?
It's
Or, how
because
is
it's
the
not
Sabbath?
based on the equinox. It's based on the equilux, which is known as the Takufa. This is the turn of the year. So this is when the sun turns around in its circuit. It's crossing the equator. This only
Say that
happens
phrase
twice a year.
again. Say that phrase again.
Takufa.
Takufa.
Yeah, this is the turn of the year. This is when we celebrate Tabernacles, Feast of Trumpets in the fall. So this is
Okay.
the second equilux. This marks the fall because obviously the sun is what's controlling the weather patterns.
So
So when the sun is, sorry, go ahead.
so it's called the equinox.
Yes, the equinox is not as precise, but the equilux is exactly 12 hours daytime and 12 hours night.
Okay.
And this is actually what's referred to in the scriptures. So the equinox is nowhere to be found, but the equilux can be seen as that, or is that turn of the year. The Jays call it the New Year, the Jewish New Year, but it's just turn of the year.
Okay. Wait, I've never heard the equinox Sabbath before. I heard of the lunar Sabbath. I heard of all that, but I never heard of the equinox Sabbath before. So I'm curious to hear about it, learn about it.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, think about it. Even in Genesis, God tells us, He gives us the stars, the moon, the sun, all the constellations as signs. It doesn't mean follow these or worship these, but they're signs for specific things. I mean, they didn't have clocks and watches and things like that. That's why they used a sundial.
And the moon. So yeah, I get that. It's definitely a lunar solar calendar. But so what's the difference between the lunar Sabbath and the equinox Sabbath?
Well, I'd have to look that up, but I'm not going to sit
The
here.
lunar
You're not going to call me
the
no
lunar
liar.
Sabbath the lunar Sabbath is actually accurate because you're using the moon based on the equilux. So depending on what the moon is doing that's how you can tell where you are in the year.
Yeah. If I had me personally, I really don't get bogged down on what's the correct Sabbath. 'Cause I think in this time period, it's supposed to be like this. God said he made us forget our Sabbaths, especially when they went to Babylon. where the Sabbath technically can't even be kept right now. Most I don't care about the land of exile getting rest. The Sabbath was for the land of Israel, so the land of Israel could get rest. His land could get rest. Right. So I don't even personally think you can keep the Sabbath as written in the Torah. So I don't really even get
No,
too
the
bogged down
sacrifices, of course
to
not,
I don't
but
get
it's
too
a
bogged
memorial.
down with it. But when it comes to um the Sabbath, if I had to bet money on how it was kept back in the day, I would probably bet on the lunar Sabbath, me personally. But I don't really get too bogged down because again, it's exile. It can't be kept.
Well, the Sabbath is eternal, so I mean, you're supposed to do it. Like even if it's in memoriam, even if you don't think you got the right one, you should still keep one day set apart at the very least,
No, me,
or you just stay home.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't believe in exile. Say if someone doesn't, so say if someone breaks the Sabbath in exile, there's no judgment to it. You can't get stoned for it. You can't get punished for it.
No, it's not about that. It's not about
high priest.
punishment.
There's no high priest in the tabernacle doing the sacrifice to even make it a thing for the Most High. Everything is destroyed when we got sent into exile. Our feast days, our high holy days, our rest days, our joyous days got taken away from us for a punishment. I always use this example. If if when you your mother tell you to clean the dishes and before she come home and you don't and when she come home the dishes not clean, she say, "You know what? I'm punishing you. Go in your room and you're on timeout. I mean, or you're on punishment." And you say, "No, I'll do the dishes now. It's too late. It's too late now. Now I don't want you to do the dishes. Go on your punishment." So it's the same way with Israel. We weren't keeping our high holy days. We weren't doing it. The Most High took it away from us and kicked us out the land. Now you want to be in exile, trying to act like you're doing it when you can't do it. When you're just defiling it, you're just like it's too late now. So I get doing it for cultural purposes, doing it for heritage purposes, doing it turning back to the Most High. But when we being real, we can't keep it as it's written in the Torah. And sometimes people be borderline defiling it because they actually think when they get these Passover lambs and they get these stuff, they actually think they're keeping Passover in exile. You're defiling it. So yes, I do acknowledge a Sabbath day and I don't work, but I wouldn't say that's keeping the Sabbath according to how we're supposed to be kept in the land. I think it's two different things.
Well, remember all that stuff. You know that's already done away with because we don't have a priesthood. But we're not talking about the sacrifices because y'all never told us about sacrifices. What we're talking about is just being obedient, right? And He did give us a way to figure it out. So when people say that, oh, we can't find that out, that's not true. That's not true. It's in the text. We're told how to find it.
Can you give me an example of somebody keeping Sabbath outside the land of Jerusalem and outside the land of Israel in the text?
Can I give you an example of what, sir?
Somebody when the children of Israel went into their land, can you show me someone keeping the Sabbath outside the land of Israel?
Well, of course, they would have forgotten specifically how to keep it, but they would have known that they're supposed to keep one day set apart.
So what was the Sabbath for?
So it's a rest day.
For what though? That's what I'm asking. Like for what?
It's honoring the seventh day of creation.
But I'm asking if the Sabbath was for the land could get rest.
Well, later on, but initially it was simply to honor the seventh day where the Most High rested.
Yeah, but again,
That's what it was really for.
you don't work so the land could get rest. So when the Most High
No,
kicked you
that's
out,
later on.
what you mean later? Under the law of Moses, are we not under the law of Moses?
No, we're under the covenant.
Why are you
The
doing that?
covenant of Moses. What are you talking about? The covenant that
No,
Moses gave.
no, no. Moses wrote some stuff in Deuteronomy and added some stuff, but we're talking about the covenant that
What
went into
covenant are
the
you
ark.
talking about?
Exodus 20 to 23.
Is that not what Moses gave?
No,
Yes.
yes, that, but no, well, the Most High gave that, and Moses
And no, we know the
shared
Most
it
High
along,
gave
but
it,
there's
but
other
He gave it
things
to
that he
Moses
added.
to give.
Sure, but calling it Moses' law is not really
It's
accurate
the law of
because
Moses. The Tanakh calls it the law of Moses.
no, but I'm talking about what the scripture calls it.
The scripture
Exodus
calls it
20
the
to
law of
23
Moses.
is the covenant.
The scripture
No, you're
calls
talking
it the
about
law of
Deuteronomy.
Moses.
You're talking about the stuff he added later in Deuteronomy. I'm talking
Did
about
Moses
the
add it or
covenant
did
at Mount Horeb.
did Moses add it or did Moses write everything the Most High told him to write?
No, Moses added. That's why it wasn't
Go
in the ark. It was on the side of the ark.
go. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy. We're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, and you're gonna tell me if you agree with this text right here. Deuteronomy chapter, what's that, 34 or 33? And are you a Christian, by the way, for the record, or what's your
No,
understanding?
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Because that sounds like Christians say Moses added stuff, but the Tanakh says Moses wrote everything the Most High gave him and put it the book of the law. That's well, let me get my phone real fast.
I think everybody up here is Old Testament only right now.
Okay, I was confused because that's definitely sound like what Christians say. No offense, I'm just saying. This is Deuteronomy. Where is it at? Where he writes. Where Moses write. Where is it? Yep, 31. Deuteronomy 31. All right, Deuteronomy 31. Look what it says. I'm gonna start at 24. It says, and it came to pass when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law until they were finished. Are you saying when this book that Moses is writing, you're saying he added that right there?
Keep reading. Keep reading.
And Moses commanded the Levites which bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a
Okay.
witness against me. Are you saying
Exactly.
that?
So right there, it
Are
says
you?
right
Hold
there on
on.
the side,
I know
not
where
in
it
it.
was placed. I'm not talking about where it's placed. I'm asking you, when it says that Moses wrote the book of the law, are you saying that what he wrote was not the words of God?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. So if I
Deuteronomy
put,
10.
so when I put, when
Let's
I
go to
put this,
Deuteronomy 10.
all right, go ahead, go to Deuteronomy. Go ahead.
1 to 5.
Go ahead.
Sure, we could even just read the first two. So verse 1. At that time, Yah said to me, chisel out 2 stone tablets like the originals, come up to me on the mountain, and make an ark of wood, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets which you broke, and you are to place them in the ark. This is the covenant.
We
Not
know we
not Deuteronomy 30. So
no.
this is
That's not
different
the
from what
conversation. We
Moses
know
just brought.
there's a difference between what God wrote on the stones in the book of the law. I'm asking you what Moses wrote in the book of the law. What Moses wrote, is that the words of God? Yes or no? That's what I'm asking you.
What Moses wrote in what you just referenced? No.
Okay, so what is this right here in Exodus 24? It says, and Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. Where is that at? What's that?
Yeah, that's about the covenant,
I'm at,
not what you just spoke about.
I'm saying, what is that though? Where is that what Moses wrote?
That's on Mount Horeb.
I'm asking you, where is that at? What is that the book of the law? Where is that? It's not the Ten
That's the
Commandments.
covenant. I keep saying it. That's the covenant. The
That's not the
covenant
Ten
contains the
Commandments.
10 commandments.
Moses didn't write the on the stone. This is not the stone. I'm talking about these words that Moses wrote. What are those? Where are they at?
Okay, it's two different sets. You just said you understood that.
You have the tablets of stone which God wrote with his finger, and then you have the book of the law what Moses wrote. You're saying what Moses wrote isn't the word of God. I'm asking you when it says and Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. What's that? That cannot be the tablets because
That's
Moses did not.
Exodus 20 to 23. That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay, where is that at though? Where I'm asking you, where is
That's
that
in
at?
the ark. That is in the ark.
So Moses wrote
That
the.
is inside the ark.
Hold on. So
Mo-
Moses
Moses,
wrote. Hold on. I'm asking, Moses wrote the on the tablets of stone.
no. What I'm saying is the Most High gave Moses the tablets of stone and the rest of those commandments that's in Exodus 20 to 23. That's what I'm saying.
Say that
What
one
you
more
were
time.
just referencing in Deuteronomy
So
30
hold on. Say that
is a
one more time
different
for
set of
clarity.
laws.
Say that one more time for clarity.
Exodus 20 to 23,
Hmm.
those books, those chapters, that is the covenant.
Okay, and
That
that's
is what
written
went
on,
inside.
and that's written on the tablets of stone.
Yes,
Okay, and who wrote on the
correct.
tablets of stone?
That's the Most High that wrote that.
Okay, I'm asking you, this what Moses
Or,
wrote.
well, the Most High wrote the 10 tablets, but Moses wrote the rest of the laws because the people got scared. Don't forget.
Okay, so show me that the rest of the laws where Moses wrote. Where is that?
That's Exodus 20 to 23.
No, I'm asking you, where did he write it at? Did he write it in a book? Did he write it on tablets? Where he write it? Where he write it at?
Yeah, that's the book of the covenant. That's what's inside of the ark.
Show me that.
That's the covenant.
Show me the book of the covenant inside. Show inside the ark. Show me that.
Exodus 20 to 23. If we literally, if you go through the laws,
No,
you'll see
listen to what
that
I'm
that's
saying.
what.
I'm asking you to show me the book that you just said Moses wrote that's inside the Ark of the Covenant. Show me that. Book, chapter, verse. I'm not asking you about the tablets of stone. We know the tablets of stone Moses didn't write. The Most High wrote that. You just said there's a book of the covenant inside the ark. I want you to show me that.
What exactly are you? So, what do you want me to show you? Because when you read the text, it tells you that that's what the covenant is, and this is what was given at Horeb. This is what the Most High is talking about.
You have the law that's written on the tablets of stone by the fingers of God, and you also have the book of the law. You have those two things. The two tablets are inside the ark. That's what God wrote. The book of the law is on the side of the ark. You said the book of the law that Moses wrote is not the word of the God. Is not the word of God. I went to Exodus 24 to show you Moses writing something that is the word of God. I'm asking you, where is that at? The word of God that Moses wrote, where is that at? You said it's inside the Ark of the Covenant. I'm asking you to show it to me.
Exodus, Exodus 24,
That's where I was just reading.
3 to 4.
That's what I just read.
Read it again.
And Moses wrote all these words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built the altar. I'm asking you, where did Moses write the words of the Lord at?
Oh, I'm assuming it was on parchment or some sort of. But this is what he brought back down from the mountain
No, he brought down
after the
two
initial
tablets.
10.
He brought down two tablets of stone.
Yes, yes. Well, no. Initially, the Most High read it out loud,
Yeah,
and he came back down. Oh, pardon me. He didn't actually go up until after the covenant was sealed. Then he went up to receive the rest of the
I don't
stuff.
think you understand my question. We know, and from your understanding, what's inside the Ark of the Covenant?
I think it was Aaron's staff, um, the manna, and then the covenant.
And the covenant is the two tablets of stone, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And the two tablets of stone, who wrote those? The Most High, right? He gave them to Moshe.
yes, he did.
Okay. Exodus 24 says Moses wrote something. From my understanding, that's the book of the law. We confirm that in Deuteronomy. It's the book of the law. You're saying the book of the law that Moses wrote isn't the words of God. Exodus 24 says that Moses wrote the words of God. So I'm looking for.
That's the rest. That's the rest of it that I'm talking. That's
So
literally you're literally referencing what I'm saying.
so when you say the rest of it, my understanding, the rest of it is in the book of the law, and that's the word of God. You're saying the
You're
book of
talking
the
about
law.
like Leviticus.
You said what?
Are you talking about Leviticus?
All the law, everything outside of the stuff that was on the Ten Commandments is written in the book of the law. That's Leviticus,
Leviticus
that's
is
Exodus,
not in the
that's
covenant.
Leviticus, that's Exodus, that's Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is just a retelling.
Leviticus
Hold on.
Leviticus is not
Deuteronomy
a
is
part
just
of
a
the law,
okay, great.
the
Deuteronomy is
covenant. I
just a
mean,
retelling of things that happened in Leviticus, Numbers, and Exodus. That's all Deuteronomy is. Moses is speaking to the people in the 40th year, and he's going back over everything that happened the 40 years. That's all it is. So it's not nothing new. It's stuff that happened in Leviticus, Numbers, and Exodus. So again, you said the book of the law is not the word of God, but Moses wrote something that's the word of God. I'm asking you, where is that at? That's what I'm asking you. It can't be in the covenant, in the ark, because the only thing that's in the ark is the two tablets of stone that God wrote. So where is this thing that Moses wrote down? Where is that? If it's not the book of the law and it's not the two tablets of stone, where is that? That's what I'm asking you. Do you guys understand my chat? Do you
I'm
understand the
pulling.
question I'm asking them?
I'm pulling something up for you. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay.
I get it.
Oh, okay. So I don't want to be unfair. I never heard nobody say the book of the law that Moses wrote isn't the word. I never heard that. Like, that's what's interesting about TikTok. You hear some funny, interesting things on TikTok, boy. And for the people that's listening, when it comes to the book of Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, like when we go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, Moses has the people in front of him. It's the 40th year of the wilderness. So Moses has given him his last address to the people, and he's going over stuff that happened the 40 years. That's all he's doing. It's not nothing new. It's just a retelling of Numbers and Exodus and Leviticus. So when he says Moses wrote the book of the law, he's talking about Exodus 24.
So okay, so the stuff that went into the side of the ark, this is stuff pertaining to captive wives. So Deuteronomy 21, and then stuff pertaining to divorce, Deuteronomy 24.
Where you get
This is
that
what
from?
went into the side of the
Where
ark.
you get that from?
But because Moses added those things, those were never part of the covenant. That's
Show
the
me
only
that.
thing
No,
that's
but
different
that's your
from.
understanding. And again, and no,
No, it's not.
that's why I
It's
asked
not
you
just my
that's
understanding.
why I
It's
asked
what
you
the
was you a
text says.
Christian, because in the Christian Testament it says
No.
Moses. Hold
Well, I
on,
mean, obviously at one point.
because the Christian Testament tells you, oh, Moses added this for your own this. Moses added this for the stiffness of your heart. The Christian Testament makes the argument that Moses added stuff. The Tanakh does not make
I
that
didn't know
argument.
that.
So I'm asking you,
I didn't know
if
that.
you're
What I'm
saying
seeing here is Deuteronomy 21.
even what you just said about marriage, the Christian Testament says Moses added the law of divorce for the stiffness of their heart. What you just said is the argument the Christian
That's
Testament
true.
makes. All right, if that's true, show me proof of that in the Tanakh.
Well, it's not in the covenant. That's how I know it's true.
But show me the
And this
proof
is
of
why.
what you're
And hold
saying.
on. This is why it's placed in the side, not
Show me
inside
the
of the
proof.
ark.
Where does the Tanakh say that at?
You just read it in Deuteronomy 31.
We
Put
didn't
these in
say
the side of the ark.
it doesn't say the book of the law is on the side because it's not a part of it. It doesn't say that. You're adding that. Show me
But
where. If it says that, I
it
need to see
says
that.
it's in the side. There's a distinction.
Is a
There's a reason. There's a
distinction.
distinction inside
It does.
versus the side.
Okay, it does have a difference of the placement, but it does
Why
not
is there a
tell.
distinction
It
then?
does not tell you that. It does not say that.
No, I'm asking you,
I don't know. It does not say that. I don't add
and
stuff to
I'm
the book.
telling you this is why.
Okay, so
Gentlemen, y'all mind
show
if
me.
I give a little if
But
I give an answer to because like
before he
the
go though,
thing is with
I want him to tell me why he's saying that
No,
and
I'm
where
not
he's
going
getting
anywhere.
that from.
no
You can't just say
we're
stuff
having
and without
it's
no.
a good dialogue because basically we're here to sharpen each other. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I just wanted to add something, and this is my understanding, and I'm going to say that this is from my understanding. I think that the Ten Commandments was placed in the ark because the Ten Commandments is common law for everybody. However, like when it comes to the children of Israel, like Israel and Judah,
Exactly, Zara. My bad. Go ahead. I was just running the chat.
Israel and Judah, I believe the reason why the other books that Moses wrote down that came from God, right, is basically for pertaining to the covenant because Israel and Judah's laws are stiffer than the laws of the sojourner, if that makes any sense.
I understand what you're saying, and I get people try to fill gaps where is a lack of evidence or a lack of information on stuff. So I get the text doesn't say why the the tablets was placed in the ark and the book of the law was placed on the side of the ark. So humans, we're gonna say, okay, let me make this make sense in my head and come up with a conclusion. I get it. Both of you guys come up with different conclusions. I try not to do that. I'm okay with saying the text doesn't specify, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm okay with that. But both of you guys understand it. I get it. But if you're going to make a claim that the book of the law is not the word of God, and this is in the book of the law, and this is not, I need you to prove that. I don't want to that's what Jay Mixon just said. I can completely understand what he's saying. Completely. When it comes to what the other guy is saying, oh, Moses added this, you have to prove that now. Because that's I don't want to get too aggressive, but that's nowhere in the text. That's actually an
Have you
argument in
read
the Christian Testament.
have
So
you
I want to
read
know
the
why
covenant?
you saying that. What was that?
Have you read the covenant?
Yes, I have.
So you're familiar with what's in it, like Exodus 20 to 23, and how at the end of it is where the blood gets sprinkled, and that's when the covenant is sealed. You're
Yes,
familiar with all those things, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, so that means that from that point on, what's in it is eternal and unending. It's the ark. This is the ark of the covenant.
The problem you're having,
So
you're taking
no,
Exodus.
hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm just you see where I'm going though, right? That's where the covenant is. Anything that comes after is not the covenant. And this is what I'm talking about. The
Okay.
covenant is what is sealed in blood.
You keep pausing, so I wasn't sure when you finish. Let me know when you finish.
No, because I'm just trying to make sure you follow that. That's what I'm talking about. The covenant. What you are talking about is other things that were added after Moses, after our journey in the wilderness. So he added these things to make it easier for us. But this is not the covenant. That's the point I'm making to you. He was allowed to add these judgments, if you want to call them that, to make just to make it easier for us, because clearly the men were struggling with sexual immorality. So this is why he saw fit to add this, and he was allowed to. But it is not the covenant. This is why the Most High later says, "I didn't tell you about sacrifices. I gave you a covenant." That's what I'm talking about. That's what's inside the ark. On the side of it is the stuff Moses added, these civil things. He added, but it actually goes against what's some things that are in the covenant.
But wait a minute
Hold on,
That's the
hold
though.
on,
point I'm
hold on,
trying to
hold on,
make.
hold on. Okay, so can you everything you just said? Can you prove that to me? Can you show me a text where it says Moses added something and it was okay? Can you show me that?
Yes, because the Most High says that it's a testimony against us because we agreed to it. Moses had
So
everybody
that
agree
that's
to it.
not
So the
that's
Most
not
High
showing
said,
that's not
now it's a
showing me
testimony
Moses added anything. You're showing, and again, in what you're doing, you're making it seem like
because it's different from what's in the covenant. That's
it's
the point I'm
not
making. The
different.
things
Is
Moses
the
said is not. Show me where it speaks about captive wives in the covenant God gave us. Show me where it speaks about how a king should carry himself in the covenant. Show me.
this is what you're doing. You're trying to
I'm not
come to a
doing anything other
conclusion
than
that's
what we're
you're trying to
supposed to
come to a
do.
conclusion that's far from the text. You have to show me what you're saying.
I just asked you a
I can't
question.
argue. You trying to argue
Where are
from
those
negative.
laws
You have to
in the covenant?
show me where Moses added. Show me where this what Moses wrote. Show me that's not the book of the law. You have to show me that. You still haven't shown me. It says Moses wrote the words of the Lord. Where is the words of the Lord that Moses wrote? I need you to show me that.
That's Exodus 20 to 23, as
Where
I
is
said
it
already.
written at? It's not written on the tablets
Are you,
and it's not written in the book of the law. Where is it written at? Do we have it with us?
the covenant's not written? Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking you where it says Moses wrote the words of the Lord. Where is it written at?
Like you,
It says, did Moses write something? Yes or no?
yeah, of course.
So where is it written at?
Okay, one second. I'll pull it up. Exodus 24, 3-4.
Yeah, that's what we talking about.
All right.
Moses comes
You,
down
like
and he writes everything. Where is that at?
exactly. And in this, there's nothing about what's in
I'm
Deuteronomy
asking
21
you,
or
where
30.
is it written at, bro? That's all I'm asking
Where
you.
is okay? Now I don't know what you're asking because you're not even like. What are you asking exactly?
When Moses
Because I'm
came
answering
down
your
from the
question.
mount and wrote, where is that written at? Like, I don't know how many times I can ask the
It's
question.
the book. That's the book of the covenant. That is the book of the covenant.
Okay,
That's
from
what's being
where is
spoken
the
of
book
in
of the
Exodus
covenant at?
24.
Where's the book of the covenant? Is it in the ark or on the side of the ark?
That's in the ark because it contains the
Okay,
Ten
so
Commandments as well.
give me the book, chapter, and verse where it says the book of the covenant is in the ark. Give me that
Oh,
verse.
okay.
Because from my understanding, the book of the covenant and the book of the law is the same thing, for the record. And for the way,
You know, I was going to ask you that. I was like, are you saying that they're different things?
oh no, he's saying it, but they're the same thing.
Is this a New Testament perspective?
That's what I thought, but he said he's not New Testament, he's Tanakh.
Oh. Hmm.
That's the argument the New Testament make. Moses added the law of the voice for
So
the stiffness of their heart. I'm like, so when he was saying that, I'm like, interesting.
Exodus 24, 4-8. Hold on.
And by the way, I probably talk a little aggressive, but that's just how the way I talk when I'm having like this. It ain't no hard feelings or nothing, bro. Just to let you know. People that know me know I get a little bit of aggressive sometimes.
I think it's an excellent convo because we're all Torah observing and we're all trying to learn some things that we may or may not know. So it's a good healthy conversation. So everybody tap that screen, share the live. Let's get the likes up and let's get an algorithm going.
Definitely tap that live, and make sure again you purchase my new book. The image still stands. Daniel 2, I go into the understanding where we at in the timeline of the statue. Because the statue still stands today, all praises. Amazon and Kindle. And while we wait for him, so all through the Tanakh, when you read about the book of the law or you read about the book of the covenant, it's the same thing, right? When Ezra and them came out, he brought the book of the law and he read them the laws, and they kept the laws. Even when you go into, I think, the time of Josiah, they find the book of the law. That's the book of the law that Moshe wrote. So all through the Tanakh, they're going to the book of the law to keep all the laws, right? So this whole understanding that the book of the law is not the word of God and Moses, I don't know where that come from. Well, I do know where it comes from, but I think that's a slippery slope for a Tanakh only to hold. One of my good brothers, Yoshi, he always say people still be having what he say, the crumbs on them or something, or the residue. Sometime when we was Christians and believers of the New Testament, when we put it down, sometimes we don't let go all the residue. We still have residue of the Christian doctrine, right? And sometimes we gotta learn to let that go, get that residue up off us.
Okay, so you know what? Upon closer inspection, it's not inside of the ark, but it's also not on the side of it either.
So where is it?
So that I'll concede to that. But that's a good question. So this is something that it's eternal. So regardless of if someone's just carrying it wrapped up in something or whatever, but this is the eternal covenant. It's supposed to be unchanging. And so the things that Moses adds later, the point I was really trying to get to is that the fact that the stuff that he added later on was not a part of the covenant. It can't be found in the covenant. And once it was sealed, it doesn't matter what comes after it. If it wasn't in it before it was sealed, it's not a part of it.
I mean, all right, bro. I suggest do some more looking history. Search on that, bro. But nowhere in the Tanakh do you see Moses add anything. The Tanakh tells you that Moses wrote all the words of the Most High, and Moses
No,
wrote
actually,
all the
Deuteronomy
words of
31
the Most
says
High.
Moses wrote this law, meaning like it doesn't say anymore that Yah is telling him to write these things, specific things that I mentioned though.
All right, man.
All the things that he wrote at Mount Horeb, it says Yah. I mean, we've read it several times, so we know it came from Yah. But these other things, it simply says, and Moses wrote this law, and Moses commanded, and it came to pass. So it's certain things that triggered him to make these things up, to add these things.
You gotta stop
And I'm
saying
not
that.
even trying to say
It
he was
don't
trying
say
to
that, bro.
trick anybody.
But it don't
It does
say
not
that.
say that Yah gave him these
you're,
things.
you. If anybody's adding, you're adding that stance that Moses did that. It doesn't say that in the Tanakh.
Well, it doesn't say that Yah gave him these additional things. If you can show me that,
You keep
then
saying
I'll
additional.
concede to
You
that.
keep
But
saying additional things, but all right. I mean, I hear you, bro. I mean,
it
I
just doesn't
suggest you
say that
just
Yah gave him these additional things.
Go back and look
I
into
have.
that.
I've looked it over, and this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't know about what Christians say. I didn't know. You telling me that right now is the first time I'm hearing that that's a thing. But when I'm reading the book, it clearly says, and Moses wrote. It doesn't say, and Yah commanded Moses to say or to write. We see where that happens, but these ones that I'm talking about in Deuteronomy, he added them.
Did in Numbers? I mean, Exodus 24. Does God tell Moses to write that?
To write what?
When he come down, did God tell Moses to write it?
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead, show me that. I don't remember that part.
Where Moses is commanded to write what he just got from the mountain?
In Numbers 20, Exodus 24. I learned some new doctrine every time I come on TikTok, man.
Well, it says he wrote down all the words of Yah. What's the question?
Because you made it an issue like because it doesn't say God told him to write it. That means there's like something iffy about it. But did God tell him to
No, I'm
write that?
saying the way it's written is very particular. It lets you know who's the actual author of what's being said or what's being written, because it connects the Most High to it when it's him. When it's simply Moses making these quote unquote righteous judgments, they're allowed to, but they go in the side of the ark.
But did God tell Moses to write this stuff? No.
The stuff that's in the side of the ark?
No, the stuff in Exodus 24.
Yeah, that's the covenant.
Where does
That's the
God
covenant.
tell
This came
Moses to
before this.
write it in Exodus 24? Because you said like God didn't tell him to write, in which I don't. Again, maybe it's just my.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, okay. Now I see what you're asking. Well, here it's him telling you that these are the words of the Most High, and later on he doesn't say that anymore. He stops saying that because they're no longer things that the Most High told him to do. It's things that he, based on his judgment, decided to add, which he was allowed to. That was his job. So I'm not saying that he necessarily did anything wrong by doing what he thought was right, but
But
he
where,
caused
like,
people to stumble.
where are you getting that from, though? I don't
I'm getting it
understand
from the
where
state
you
of
getting that from.
of the nation after he added these things. He made it easy for people to kind of skate by certain ways they didn't want to change. But if he hadn't added that, then it would have been a lot more
But
difficult.
you keep saying he added stuff, and you can't prove that.
I literally just explained to you that these other things that he speaks about are things that he, like, it clearly says Moses wrote this, Moses added this, Moses
It don't say
commanded. It doesn't
Moses
say in
added
Yah
it. It don't
commanded.
say Moses added anything, bro.
Not the word added, but commanded.
Let me ask you this, right? When in Deuteronomy 31, when God tells them, make sure they fear and keep and do all the words of this law, what law is he talking about there?
The covenant, that's it. Yeah, the covenant law.
All right, so and then it says Moses wrote all the words to this law. Why wouldn't that be the same law?
Because it's not in the it's not written in the covenant law. If it's the same thing that's in the covenant, it would be also already there. It would have already been stated there.
All right, let me do it. Let me go. No, let me go to.
So you're saying because it wasn't read that it, but it was already there? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Even though it wasn't read?
No, let me do this.
No, I'm just asking. What do you say?
I'm about to read it. Let me go to that. It's Deuteronomy 31 and hold up. Let me pull this up.
The stuff that Moses wrote was simply to be a witness, but it's not the covenant.
Hold up. Let me. Where is it? When
So,
God?
Yashar, what exactly is the covenant to you?
Exodus 20 to 23.
Oh,
So
let
it's
me read this
obviously
real
the Ten
quick.
Commandments.
Oh,
And
let
then,
me read. Hold on, let me read it. I forgot.
all right.
Deuteronomy 31 and 11. It says. It says. And when all Israel came to appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, that they may learn, and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law. What is this law
Mm-hmm.
right here that's being talked about?
It's talking about the covenant plus these things that he is giving, just as verse 10 says. Then Moses commanded them.
Okay, so this so so this law that's being talked about is the law of God.
Well, it's part of a witness, so that's why it's in the side of the
Well,
covenant.
that's not what I'm
Pardon me,
asking. I'm
side of
talking
the
about
ark.
this law that they have to read before all Israel for them to keep. Is that the law of God?
It's the law that he allowed Moses to add. Yes.
Oh my. Go ahead, Jay,
I
because
don't. What am I not saying? That's not. What's not clear?
go
Like
ahead,
you're
Jay.
trying to like get like
Because it doesn't
put
say
something in
anything.
a
That's
box,
not
but I'm
in the
telling you, it's very
text.
simple.
That's not in the text. You're making that up, bro. And I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be honest. You're making that up. This was talking about Moses is giving them the word of God, and he's talking about the Torah, the law that God gave him. You're making this up that Moses added. It's not in the text, bro. And at this, like, I don't know what else to say to you. But go ahead, Jamie. You could ask me.
Is it found in the covenant? Is it found in the covenant law? Yes or no?
Yes, it is, bro.
So you can show me where it mentions captive wives. Seriously, show me where it mentions captive
In the
wives in the
Torah,
covenant
in
law.
the law that
No,
Moses
no. I
wrote,
said the
is the law of
covenant
God.
law. The covenant law.
The
That's what
book of the
I'm using.
law
Very
is the
particular
covenant
words.
law, bro. The book of the law is the covenant law.
Oh, so show me it in what was given at Mount Horeb. Show me that there. You're saying this. So show me where that's spoken of in the covenant that was sealed with blood.
I just showed you it, bro. Moses
You did.
read it in front of the
So
people.
so
The
so
book of
so
the
it's found
law,
in Exodus 20 to
what
23.
Moses wrote
You're
in the
talking about Moses. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about what God
Wrote
said.
and what Moses wrote in Exodus 24 is what Moses read before the people. is what Moses wrote. That's what he wrote. That's what he's telling them to do before the people. That's the book of the law that's next to the covenant. That's next to the ark. What Moses wrote. That is the law he's reading before the people.
Are you sure you've read the covenant? Because it has laws in it. You know that, right?
100%, yes.
So then what are we talking about? What I'm saying is,
wrote it in the what Moses wrote is in Deuteronomy 31, what you read before the people that's placed on the side of the ark. That's Exodus 24, what Moses wrote. You're saying Exodus 24 is not what Moses wrote beside on the side of the Ark of the Covenant. But you can't show me Exodus 24, Moses writing it. You can't show me that anywhere. You can't show me this book that you magically say is somewhere. You can't show me that nowhere. But you're telling me something.
You're talking about the covenant, the book of the covenant law. This is what we're talking about, right? Exodus 20 to 23. We're still talking about that, right?
And you can't show me that book. And I'm telling you that book is the book that's next to the Ark of the Covenant. But you can't show me that book nowhere in the scriptures. Why is that?
Okay. I'm gonna try to. Okay, maybe I'm just not saying it correctly. Exodus 24, verse 4, literally confirms that when he sprinkled the blood on the people, prior to this, is what is being spoken of. Do you at least agree with that?
Yes, and Moses wrote all that down.
Okay, and everybody agreed.
Okay, so now that he write all that down, where is that book?
My
argument, the book is next to the ark. Where is the book? My argument is that is the book of the law. Where is the book that he writes everything down? You can't say it's not the book of the law, and we don't have no traces of this book that Moses wrote. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't know. Exodus 20 to 23, we're agreeing this is the covenant. I'm trying, because it seems like you keep trying to sidetrack this. Exodus 20 to 23, this is the covenant law. Is that agreed? Because Exodus 24 confirms that he wrote this down.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Okay. In that, which was sealed in blood, mentions nothing about the things that I just mentioned in Deuteronomy.
Okay. So where is the book at? If you're making that argument, where is the book so we can examine it? That's what I'm asking you.
We have the record of it right here. It's Exodus. Why do you keep saying where's the book at? The book is right here in everyone's Bible.
Are you saying Exodus 24 is the book of? Are you saying the book of Exodus is the book that Moses is talking about, that he wrote all the laws down?
Yes, this is the covenant law.
So you telling me Moses wrote the whole narrative of everything he was doing? Because there's stuff in the book of Exodus that's not law. That's just narrative and stuff like that. So that can't be what Moses was talking about.
In Exodus 20 to, I don't think you actually read it. Because why are you saying that? That's Numbers that's talking about the wilderness.
Narrative. It's telling you Moses did this. God said this to Moses. That's the narrative. The book of the law would be Law 1, Law 2, Law 3. There's no narrative in a book in a book of a law. I'm asking you, where is the book of the law? We're reading the narrative of the Tanakh, of what Moses did. Moses went up and wrote a book. Okay, where's that book that Moses wrote? Is what I'm asking.
Exodus 20. Just listen. Just follow me. Exodus 20 has the 10 Commandments. Exodus 21 has how you treat Hebrew servants and personal injury laws. Exodus 22 has property laws and laws of social responsibility. Exodus 23, justice and mercy, Sabbath laws, the 3 feast pilgrimage. This is the covenant. What am I saying that's not clear? And in this covenant law, you cannot show me anything you can't show me these things mentioned where Moses speaks of captive wives. That's the point I'm making to you. That stuff is what is in the side of the covenant of the ark, and that's directly stated. You read it here. I've heard it come out of your mouth.
This would do. Show me that. Go to the book of the law and show me that.
Specifically, what do you want to see?
What you just
The book of
said,
the law.
show me what you just said in the book. The book that you're talking about, go to that book. And I want where Moses put that book. Show me that book. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay, so Exodus 31, 24 to 26, which we already read. And it came to pass when Moses had made an end of writing of the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant, saying, take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant. So this law that Moses wrote is separate from the covenant law that we just read in Exodus 20, or that we just went over in Exodus 20 to
It's
23.
separate from the stuff that's. Let me maybe this is confused. What do you believe is written on the ark on the tablets of stone?
It's the Ten Commandments.
Okay, so the book of the law is separate from the 10 commandments that's on tablets. We're talking about the other laws that's outside of the 10 commandments. I'm asking you, where are those at? Where is that book at? That's what I'm asking you. Because we right now we have the book of the law that you're saying is not the word of God. It's just something Moses wrote. So
Deuteronomy.
let's just put that to the side. Let's put that to the side. Now we only have the 10 commandments. Where is the writing that Moses wrote in from Exodus 24? Where is that book at? Because my argument is that book that we keep talking about is the book of the law that's next to the ark. That's my argument.
But he didn't put the covenant beside in the space beside it. It didn't need to go in the space beside it. It's the stuff that's in Deuteronomy that needs to go beside it.
Okay, the stuff that's in Deuteronomy that need to go beside it. That's great. Where is the stuff in Exodus? Where's that book at? That's what I'm asking you. The reason why I'm not one of those people that believe like Moses wrote Genesis, all this stuff, and that's what they're talking about. I don't believe that's what they're talking about. Exodus, what we have is the narrative of what happened. I don't believe that the book of Exodus, the book of Deuteronomy, that's sitting by the ark. I don't believe that. I believe there's a book of the law that the kings had to write, that the priests had, that's documented. We don't have that book no more. That book was lost. That's my argument. What Moses wrote in Exodus 24 is that book of the law. I'm asking you, if you're saying that's not that book of the law, I'm asking you, where do we have the trace of that what Moses wrote? Because outside of the book of the law, you don't see Moses write anything else. You get what I'm saying? Because people make the argument like Genesis and all this stuff. There's no evidence that Moses wrote Genesis. No evidence of none of that. This is not what they're talking about when it says Moses wrote the book of the law. There's a book of the law that has
I don't subscribe to that anyway.
Laws, no narrative in it. It's not narrative. It's just the laws. You get what I'm saying? I'm asking you, where is that book at? And it sounds like you're saying this narrative book of Exodus, you believe that's what's in the Ark of the Covenant. And I don't.
No, I said the covenant. Exodus 20 has the 10 commandments, and then 21, 22, and 23 has the additional laws. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why you don't what you're not getting about what I'm saying.
I don't know. Somebody else is. I don't know. Maybe
You're saying
I'm
where's
confused.
the book? You're saying where's the book, right? But you mean like where was it placed?
It says Moses wrote the words of God, right? What he wrote, did he take that and put that somewhere? That's what I'm asking. You said it was in the ark,
Yes.
but we have no evidence of a book being placed inside the ark. Nowhere in the narrative that we have does it say Moses put a book inside the ark. Nowhere. So that's hard to believe. We only have Moses putting a book one place that's on the side of the ark. So if what he wrote in Exodus 24 is not the book on the side of the ark, where is the book that he wrote?
So you are asking for placement. Okay, so then you know what? Look, my main point this entire time is that there are things that Moses did add that were not a part of the original. But if all you're trying to get to the bottom of is, well, where is that book placed? Then shoot, it could, if you're saying that it's placed, that's what's in the side. I guess I can't argue against that. But what I have been saying is simply that there's things added to it that were not a part of the original covenant, and we just went over that. So if you're trying to just basically say, well, okay, yeah, but that's what's beside the covenant or what's on the side of the ark, that is the book of the law, then okay, fine. But my point though is that there's things in it that were not part of the original covenant.
Okay, so
And I guess that's part where the breakdown is, because, or the disconnect is, because I'm trying to just state that there's additions that are not supposed to be a part of the original law.
all right. So let me ask you this, right? When Moses went up the first time, right, and he got the 10 Commandments, and he came down and broke them because of the golden calf situation. When he went back up, do you think that the Most High gave him extra laws besides the first ones he gave? And I want to open the floor up so people can speak.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize. Yeah. So after the first 10 were broken, he came back down with the Levitical. Yes.
Okay, when he came back down, what chapter and verse was that? With the second one. That's in the 30s, I think.
Exodus 32. Golden calf?
Golden
Yeah,
calf
Exodus
is
32.
All right, so 34, he goes back up. Right. When
Yeah.
he goes back up and he comes back down, is there extra things given after that by the Most High?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah, we see all the Levitical law for the
Okay.
Levites. Yeah.
Or is that the word of God?
It was given by God. Yes.
Okay.
It's for the Levites. Yeah.
Do you think Moses wrote that down?
Yeah, he wrote it down and handed it to the Levites.
Do you think that's a part of the book of the law or the book of the covenant?
It's the covenant. No, Levitical is not the covenant. That's just an intercessory, temporary for like when
Or let me ask
because
you,
of the
is
things they were
it
doing.
the word of God though? Let's do that.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, where is that? Where was that written at?
Where was that? It's the word of God.
No, where was it? Where was those laws written at?
The Levitical law in Leviticus.
Is it a part of the book of the law though that Moses wrote? That you say Moses added?
Well, there's a bunch of laws, but there's different sets of laws, so you have to be more specific.
This is what I'm trying to understand, right? This is what I'm trying to show you. Moses' book of the law. This was everything that was given to him by God. So you have stuff in Exodus 24. When he went up, when he came down, you have more stuff put in there. But it's all the book of the law. It's all the words of God. And Moses continued to write in the book of the law up until he died. But it's all
You are right.
things, but it's all things from God. It's all things from God. So I'm using the second time he went up and came down when he got more things from God. That's also words from God that was written in the book.
Sure.
So I'm showing you Moses is not adding things out of his own mind. Everything he's writing down, he got from God.
Hold on a second, though. So the covenant law is different from Levitical law. And the Levitical law is for the Levites. It's for them to study and to administer it. After that are the other laws that I'm talking about that Moses himself is the one who added. I'm not saying Moses added the Levitical law himself. No, that was given as a correction. But after that, the things in Deuteronomy, those were added by Moses. And there's a reason why they're added at the end, because it's after he decided to add them after seeing how they were dealing with stuff in the wilderness.
See, I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Well, it's not in the covenant. That this is the covenant law. This is what later on he tells us. Don't worry about the other stuff.
Is the book of the covenant. Like bro, like you keep separating. It is the same thing. When Moses
The covenant
went up,
was sealed
when
in
Moses
blood.
went up,
These
he got
additional
the law.
things.
When Moses went up, he got the law. He wrote what Most High gave him. He broke the tablets. He went back up. The Most High God gave him some more things. Is another instance that the Most High God gave him some more things. It's about 4 different times. And everything Moses wrote in the book of the law that God gave him. And that book of the law is the book of the covenant. It's the same book that
That's
Ezra
false.
taught the children of Israel. All right, let me ask you this. What was Ezra teaching the children of Israel out of? Was that the book of the law or the book of the covenant?
The covenant law, the book of the covenant, Exodus 20 to 23. This is the covenant.
Not what I
and it
asked.
contains laws in it.
What was Ezra teaching the children of Israel out of after they came from Babylon? Was that the book of the law or the book of the covenant?
Well, they would have been in the land, so it was the book of the law.
Did he ever teach them out of the book of the covenant that you say is different from the book of the law?
Sorry, say that again, please.
Did he ever teach them out of the book of the covenant that you say is different from the book of the law?
Well, I'm sure they would have, yeah.
Can you show me that in the text?
Like you would be aware of. I mean, you should be aware of what the covenant is.
No, they weren't aware. They came out of Babylon. They had to learn everything. That's why they was mourning and crying. They had to learn everything. I'm asking you, can you show me Ezra teaching them out of a book of the covenant that's separate from the book of the law? Or can you show me Josiah saying, I found 2 books, the book of the law and the book of the covenant? You don't have this 2 books documented nowhere. You have a book of the law. Oh, we found the book of the law. Moses, Ezra, come with the book of the law, Ezra. That's what we have. And again, I don't want to keep dragging this conversation on, bro, because you on your point. So I'll let you have the last word. Then I want to open up the floor.
The things that we find later are not in the book of the covenant. That's all I'm saying. And we've already proven that. We've established that, sealed in blood. And I get the point you're trying to make, but what I'm trying to tell you is there's a distinction. You can disagree with the text all you want, but the stuff that was added in the side is a witness. But then we have the covenant, which is clearly sealed in blood. The things we find later are not a part of the covenant. There's laws and statutes and other things that come as well later on, but that's not the covenant. That's why it can be taken away. But the things in the covenant can be done regardless of where you are, captivity or not. It doesn't matter.
Wait, hold on.
So with that said, like
I'm gonna let you, I learned my lesson.
No, I'm done.
That's
no,
not
I'm good.
true.
You go ahead.
You just saw the pilgrimage laws are in the so-called book of the covenant. You can't do those anywhere you're at. So I just wanted to correct that, but I'm not even going to do it. I'll open up the floor to if someone else wants to speak. Floor is open. Anybody want to speak? I just saw a couple people come on stage.
No.
What was that?
This is Torah law. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I was on a panel with you some time ago and I had brought up a topic and we disagreed, and it's still been on my mind in regards to Genesis. I don't have my Bible because I'm out doing laundry right now. I know it's late. But Genesis, where it talked about the dust of the ground, and I had did some research and things about the Most High using water to create man, and you disagreed with that. And that's been bothering me for quite some time, because I know that the research that I did makes sense, because I mean, water was there in the beginning when he created the heavens and earth. He mentioned all these things, and Adam is atom, and we know we have the protons, electrons, and neutrons, and the elements of man. So we have to, and it takes water to survive. Like you have to have water to live. But you told us on that panel, a bunch of the fellows, that the Most High did not use water and soil, or the soil in the ground, and we're talking about the same type of ground that's outside. There is moisture in there. There is water in the ground. So do you still stand on that the Most High did not use water to make man?
Yeah, the text does not say God used water to make man. Doesn't say it.
I understand that, but if you go back and look at, in the beginning, the Most High created heaven, earth. He tells you that he created the earth is the dust of the ground. He created all the elements. He created the host of heaven, the seed, everything, and then he spoke. So he was not just speaking to his spirit, saying, "Let us make man," but he was also speaking to water, just like he spoke to the water in Proverbs chapter 8, when he gave water a decree and a command not to go past its location. So I wish I had my book. I don't have it with me, but he spoke to water. So it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't get what you're not connecting there. So I believe he spoke to the water in the beginning, because he had to speak to calcium to tell calcium to come together and create the bone structure of man. So you're saying again that the Most High did not use water to make man, that you still standing on that.
I'm standing on the text does not. I get people interpretation, and they go into how we understand modern science and modern things, and people try to put that into the Tanakh as if the people during that time understood things the way we understand it. But the text does not say God used water to create man at all. This is so simply based off people's interpretation, which I mean, we all have our own right of interpretation, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I wrote a book based off my
Well, it
interpretation of
wasn't.
something, but the text does not say
Yeah.
God created man with water. Does not say it. Just doesn't.
Well, man has to have water to survive, so he had to use water for us to. Without water, you'll shrivel up and die. So you can only go so many days without water. And even if you're not talking H2O, H3O2, whatever water it is, we need that moisture to live. So I
Did
stand,
he? You need food to eat too. Did God use the animals to create men?
but he use animals.
Yeah. If you based off that logic, you need food to eat. If you don't eat food, you're gonna die. So
You're talking about
would you
you're
say
talking about dead carcasses, like dead animals.
animals? Yeah.
You don't have to eat. You don't have to eat meat
All right.
to survive. People are vegetarians
All
and
right.
they're still living.
Did he use the
People are vegans and they're still
Did
living.
he use the trees and the grass and the vegetables to create man?
Did he use the trees and the
And
grass?
the fruits? Did he
They
use the
have they have similar elements. That doesn't make sense at all.
the point I'm making
They
is
have the same.
you're saying like, oh, pretty much he had to use water because you need water to survive. But if I say, okay, you need to eat to
I'm
survive.
talking about the elements in water, the hydrogen and the oxygen. You need those elements that were used, just like the elements in the earth, the elements in air, because
Okay.
we breathe in carbon dioxide and all these. So that's what I mean. I'm talking about hydrogen, however many hydrogen and however many oxygen, that's what you need. You're saying that's what I mean by that.
Okay.
So
If
atom,
you ask me what
Adam is atom.
if you, all the things that humans are made up of, did God craft art, use arts and craft and put us together so wonderfully using all the elements of our body? I would say I can see that understanding. I can see it, but the text doesn't say it. Now, I'm not going to put how we understand the human body today back on the people in Genesis. Because, one, I don't believe God wrote Genesis. I believe Genesis is a oral tradition that our forefathers wrote. And I don't believe they understood the human body as modern humans and science understand the human body today.
I'm
So,
sorry, my signal went out, so I missed what you said. I apologize.
yeah, I said I don't believe the people writing Genesis understood the human body as we understand it today. So I wouldn't. I don't believe they were thinking of how the human body is created or functions a part in their story of Genesis 1. I just don't think that. And nowhere in the text does it
What do you
say
mean by
anything
that?
like
Because
that.
I just explained it
I mean, you explained
in
it,
a
but the
sense
text doesn't
to it.
say it. The text does not say it. The text does not
But
say it.
we have the information that I understand it doesn't say it, and you don't have the logic in regards to that. But atom or Adam is atom. We have the elements of man, the protons, the electrons, the neutrons, and then when you break that
Adam and
down,
atom is
you have
not
the
the same thing.
what?
This is not. It's not. It's not the same thing. Not. It's not
Is
even
not
close.
what?
Adam and
So
Adam
we
from
don't have
Genesis one
calcium and
isn't
all
the
these
same
things in
thing.
our body.
I didn't say that.
We don't
You
have.
you you're
Okay,
connecting
what are you saying?
you connecting Adam and Adam as if it's connected. It's not connected just because the words sound alike. So again, if that's your interpretation, if that's your interpretation, feel free to
The
interpret.
elements of man, we
Hold on.
got phosphorus, we
We
got
get it.
calcium, we have
We get
all
it.
of
We
these
get it. If that's
things.
your interpretation, that's fine. I think it's a dope interpretation of how you do it. But the
Nope.
text does, but the text does not say it, and you're not gonna to force me
I'm
to.
breaking it down.
I mean, that's
I'm
how
not
you
really trying to
understand it.
force you
You
to
have
do
a you have
anything.
you have a
Nobody's
right
trying to
to
force
understand
it.
it the way you understand it. You have a right to do
Nobody's
that.
trying to force you to do anything. It's just like I'm confused as to why you disagree about,
Because the
the
text doesn't
hydrogen
say
and the
it.
oxygen. So we're not. There's no hydrogen and oxygen in our bodies.
I didn't
We
say
don't
that. I'm
need
just saying
hydrogen and oxygen.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying the text does not say it, and I don't
I'm
believe,
asking you, do
and I
we
don't.
need hydrogen
Yeah,
or oxygen to survive?
100%. But what I'm
Okay,
saying is
all
the
right.
text
That
does
answers
not
my
say,
question.
yeah, the text does not say
That
what you're saying,
it
and I
doesn't
have
have to
no
say it.
reason. Yes, it does have to say it if you're going to teach this doctrine, but the text does not say what you're saying,
Oh,
and
no.
I'd have no reason to believe the people writing Genesis understood the human body the way modern science tells us
Okay,
the
but you
body today.
agree that we need hydrogen and oxygen to survive. So,
Just like we need
okay, all
food.
right. That's all I needed. That just agrees with what I said. Thank you.
No problem. Oh man, Jay Mixon, you believe that too, man?
Believe what?
You believe God used water to create man in Genesis?
Um, I mean, it makes sense, because of how the human body is structured. But I get what you're saying too. That because the text doesn't say that. It's that's a hard one to pass to teach his doctrine, but I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a dope interpretation. I think it's dope. I think when you connect it to modern science, I get it. If God created,
hmm
he put us together. He would he put us together the way he put us together. I get it, but I don't. It's not for me
I
to
even
believe.
tried to.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that.
even
I don't
tried
think
to
the
look
people.
up.
I was
No,
about
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I don't think the people writing Genesis understood the body the way we understand the Bible. Even the way the people in Genesis understood the earth is different than we understand the earth. In Genesis, the only thing they believe the earth is dry land. We believe the earth is to be the seas, the heavens, all this little, whether you believe it's globe or flat, all this is the earth. In Genesis, the only thing they call the earth is dry land. So again, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
dope interpretation, but you're forcing modern understanding on an ancient text, and I don't think that's correct.
I even tried to look up at one point in time what dust is made out of to validate that, and just off of dust alone, I couldn't find what I needed to validate that. So I do get where I get both sides of it. You know, man is made out of water. Man is made out of electricity. Man is made out of many different elements, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I get how like if we're teaching it as doctrine, it's a hard one to pass because the book doesn't say it. And I agree with you. Like people back in that time probably didn't have a full understanding because they probably looking at it as the dust of the earth. Well, that dust could have been wet. You know what I mean? We'll never know this because the book doesn't say it.
Yeah, man. And people do it, and I always tell like especially people that Torah and first five bookers or whatever. You got to be careful when you add a bunch of stuff that's not in the text, because now you're leaving room for the Islamic people, the Christian people. You can't say, oh, you can't. That's not in the text. Oh, they have a right to interpret this stuff any type of way they want to, just like you interpret the stuff any type of way you want to. You can't say nothing. You just got to say, know what, we disagree at interpretations. Me, I'm consistent. If I'm bringing out interpretation, I'm gonna say, yo, this is my interpretation. This is how I see it. But when we talk
Mhm.
about the Tanakh, I'm gonna be strict with the text say. If it's not in the text, we not gonna do that. Well, again, everybody can have
I
fun with
have
their interpretations.
speaking of interpretation, let me ask you this. As far as the serpent is concerned, right? Now I've had my own personal interpretation that this serpent is a celestial being, or maybe a different type of human being, so forth and so on. But again, the text doesn't support that because the text only says that the serpent is a serpent.
Mhm.
And the text also says that the serpent is a beast of the field. So I don't remember as the long time ago as a kid, I've read about the serpent being the father of Cain,
Mhm.
and no, not the father of Cain. Excuse me, I apologize. The serpent being the father of Abel,
Mhm.
and
I heard the
with
Cain
the
one before though. Okay.
yeah, I've read a long time ago that the serpent was the father of Abel, and that this is the reason why Cain and Abel had conflict because Abel was a lot more intelligent than Cain. And Cain was more of a common human being versus Abel being from this serpent, right? And the serpent was considered what? More cunning than any beast of the field. So and then on top of that, when you read the actual doctrine, it never lists Abel as Adam's son. You don't find Abel being called Adam's son anywhere, but you do find Cain being called Adam's son, and you also find Seth being called Adam's son. You ever notice that?
I think Abel is called Adam's son though, if I'm remembering. I could be maybe remember wrong, but I think he's called Adam's son in what's that, Genesis? Let me see, maybe I'm yeah, right. It says the man knew Eve his wife, and she convinced and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again she
Hmm.
bore his brother Abel. So it's telling like she bore both of them right there.
Right, but it never says that. Okay, so within that context, it never says that Abel, like she doesn't make the same claim for Abel. Does that you get where I'm coming from? So what was what was her comment when Cain was born? I've gotten a man with the help of the Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she never makes that same claim for Abel, and that kind of made me wonder why. Now, like I said, and I want for anybody that's listening, this is my own speculation. This is not something that I want anybody to lean on because you're not supposed to lean on the understanding of man, right? And I'm telling you that this is not in the text, right? But this is something that I gravitated towards as far as reading and just based on my own personal comprehension. But she never makes that same claim for Abel that she makes for Cain. And also when I, I I would have to go back to and read the text to see to give more of an explanation where Cain is called Adam's son, Seth is called Adam's son, Abel is not. He's never called Adam's son. But
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
that's one of those things that that's basically leaning on personal understanding. However, the text doesn't say it, so I can't teach that as doctrine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I have a complex understanding towards how that whole passage reads.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Now,
Hey, can I just real quick? I just want to say something. I got to give you a shout out because what you forced me to do is look at this text much closer than what I thought I already understood, and I'm realizing it really is the commandments. The covenant is the covenant, obviously, and then there's the covenant law, but it's not the Exodus 20 to 23 that's inside of the ark itself. You're correct that the rest of the things after the Ten Commandments is what's in the side, and so. But again, my point was I was just trying to make a distinction that there's things that's sealed with blood, and then there's further things added after that. But that's what I've gotten from this conversation. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you for that. Because you asked, it's like you repeatedly asked the same question. I'm like, damn, I guess not all of 20 to 23 was inside, but it was in fact just the Ten Commandments. So some clarity on that.
Indeed, and I appreciate the bill. This is what I agree with you on, that things were added little by little into the book of the law. Because even when you get as far as even Joshua, God had Joshua add things into the book of the law. Where I disagree is that it was them doing it on their own. My argument is that they were doing what God gave to them, and God had them added to the book of the law. So that's why I used the one when he went up and when he came back down after they had messed up with the golden calf. The Most High gave them some more to add to the book of the law. So I agree that things were added at different times. I just disagree that it's not when you said it's not the word of the Lord and Moses added it by himself. That's where we disagree.
Well, no, okay. Here's the thing. There's plenty of things that are the words of the Most High. But it's really only three things in particular that I'm saying that Moses added. And not in a bad way. It's just simply that these are judgments that just decisions that he made, executive decisions. So that was his job. But keep in mind, though, he also wasn't allowed to step into the promised land. It wasn't just because he struck the rock. You know what I mean? There's other implications.
You about to go into a whole other...
I'm not gonna do it. But that's where I stand with it.
Indeed. It was nice meeting you too.
Plus,
But sometimes, when we debate, I get a little aggressive, and that's just how I am. But there's no disrespect to you, and it's always love, brother. So, nice.
No, if I felt like that, I would have just left. I would have just left if I felt like that. I don't roll in the mud.
Indeed.
But no, yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm gonna follow you actually.
Indeed, and I'm live on YouTube every night. Torah After Dark, we read Torah and discuss Torah and just build. And every Friday I do a Smoke Friday. So now I'm starting to transition to bring Smoke Friday to TikTok. So y'all gonna see me here live every Friday on TikTok now. But if you want to join Torah After Dark, I'm on YouTube every night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time reading the Torah. All right, but I'm tired. I gotta go to work in the morning, and I'm up mad late, so I'm about to end this thing off. If y'all wanna say shalom, say some last words, feel free before we end this thing off.
Yeah, shalom everybody that came to Prolific's live. I haven't had a chance to build with Prolific in a while, and I'm glad to see that he's back on TikTok because it's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. And shalom to everybody that came up. Kimberly, Sister Kim, um, Yashun. I don't know the young lady at the top though, but shalom
That's
to you
all. That's
too.
all.
Shalom, shalom.
Sister Britt in the chat, Sister Ladonna, James 718 718. Shalom to you. Shalom to y'all servant David. Shalom to everybody that came to this live, man, because I've been waiting for Prolific to get back on here and you know and to build, man.
Indeed, and it's good seeing you again, Jam. We gonna be connecting every Friday. Every Friday we gonna be here, man. We gonna be here. All right. So shalom again. Make sure you go Amazon, Kindle, cop this book. My book, I just wrote this. Well, I didn't just wrote it, but I just released it. It's about the statue in Daniel 2, my interpretation of it, how I show that we're still living in the time of the statue. We're living in the tools part. And if you love biblical history, if you love prophecy, if you love connecting prophecy to history, this book is for you. Check it out on Amazon. Um, if you want to join the Torah After Dark family, we're live on YouTube every night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We read the Tanakh, we extract wisdom, we read the Torah, we extract wisdom from the Torah to implement into our daily lives. It's a good family, it's a good vibe. There's no really debating and back and forth on the nightly live streams. We save it for Fridays, really. But pull up, feel free. Subscribe, Gadol HaGadol on YouTube, Torah After Dark. You're tuned in to Torah After Dark with Gadol HaGadol. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, shalom, shalom. Lila Tob. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for week 15, night 7 of Torah After Dark. And for the TikTok fam, I'll see you guys next Friday. All praise to the Most High God. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Lila Tob.